For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
This is the Big O Show.
There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal support.
This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available, from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Oh, yeah. Welcome aboard, boys and girls. Time to have some fun. Good morning. It's a beautiful Monday. It's one of those Mondays where you know you're just smiling when you go to work. Maybe some of the kids that are going to school in Dade County are happy today because, they saw that, Broward was in last week, so Dade in this week. So we love it. It's a beautiful Monday, a Dolphins Monday. Plenty of football we're going to talk today on the program. I see the chat board is already absolutely freaking locked, which is absolutely awesome. Thank you all out there for the incredible support. And, it was, for me, I got to tell you, it's been an entertaining weekend because watching the talking heads on television, or if you catch anybody on radio or somebody writing, they're all talking about Tua. And they're going, whoa, he looks better. And he looks more athletic. And he looks more comfortable and all of this stuff. And I laugh at it because this is what we talked about months ago. That I told you that people are going to say this about Tua because last year we jumped some folks out there, some Dolph fans, and then a lot of idiot pundits out there across the nation were ripping on Tua and really not looking at everything the way it's supposed to be. Because when you think about it, we're talking about a kid that didn't have an offense built for him, was a backup, was coming in off of hip surgery, and an offensive coordinator that was really focused on Fitz, not on him. Right? And so that all of this, nobody ever took that, the naysayers, okay, the doubters, because, it's for people to think that what the kid did last year was easy. What he did last year was miraculous. It was freaking awesome. The guy had hip surgery in late November and was able to be ready for September. I mean, you want toughness? Not that I want him to do this more often or anything like that. But in the game on Saturday night, he's going for yardage and he dives for the yardage. Yeah, I want him to slide. You know what I'm saying? But it shows you that the kid is tough and he's always trying to make plays and trying to help his team out. And last year, he felt it was his responsibility to get back out on the field and get healthy. And he worked his ass off to be able to get on the field in August and September, which nobody gave him, well, at least the naysayers didn't give him credit. And the kid ends up with the winning record, throws more touchdowns than interceptions, and all we get are people trying to tear him down. Instead of actually looking at the big picture, macro, not micro, remember we talk a lot about that, and you look at it and you say, well, wait a minute, considering everything that this kid did, it's pretty amazing what he's been able to accomplish this year. That's what should have been said about Tua. But instead, the uninformed or the folks that are just completely way the F off, they compare him to Herbert. Herbert, who had an offseason at least where he could throw the football with his teammates, not rehab from a hip surgery. He was the starter. He was the guy. I mean, their doctors punctured the lung of their starter. So it forced the kid to start. So they had everything for him. So it was designed for him, that he had excellent receivers, better than Miami's receivers, that's for sure. He had every other advantage that Miami didn't. And yet, Tua had more quality wins than Herbert. But see, this is the problem. And the theme has been the whole weekend, right? They're jamming on the offensive line. They don't give the offensive line time to gel. They played better this week. And I know Atlanta sat some guys. I get all of that, but you still have to go out there and execute and play well. And they did that. They're picking on Eichenberg. Eichenberg played well this past week. But what do it's this microwave society bullshit that we got to deal with all the time, that everything has got to happen overnight. And it's not going to happen overnight. Sometimes it takes Cam Wake to go to the CFL to find his way back to the NFL. It's funny. Sometimes Mark Dixon has to go to the CFL. Maybe now it's Sam Eguavoen. Maybe Sam Eguavoen is now coming into his own. I don't know. None of us know. But I do know this, to think that everybody is going to make an instant transition, it's just wrong. And it's really unrealistic. And that's what happened last year, and that's what's happened all offseason. Tua has gotten criticism that he just does not deserve. And now you're watching a kid that has been able to play football all offseason, throw to his receivers, study the playbook, his offense with his coaches. And so all of a sudden now you watch him, and he's super comfortable there. He's commanding the offense. He's showing leadership, communicating with his teammates. If something goes wrong or something goes right, he's right there. everything that you're watching from Tua is what we call an evolution of a player, a development of a player. And I think what's developing is a franchise freaking quarterback is what's happening here for the Miami Dolphins. But sometimes it just doesn't happen overnight, and especially when you're coming off a hip surgery. And that's why I laugh now when I hear people say, "Whoa, he looks so much better now. His arm is livelier, this and that." Well, what do you expect, dude? He got hurt in the core of his body. They sliced you up. Anybody been operated before? How do you feel for a couple days, couple weeks, maybe even a couple months? Or how about this? Sometimes you feel it for the rest of your life. When they cut you up, a lot of times you're never the same again. And they cut him up on the hip. You think that's not painful? You think that it doesn't take a while to be able to recover from all of that fully? It's going to take a while. Now is when he's going to really feel it. Now he's going to be at his best. You think last year he was at his best? Of course not. But he was good enough to get into NFL games. That's the part. That's why I kept coming off of last season saying I was marveled by Tua. Because if there was a year for him to actually look like absolute dog crap, it was last year. And he didn't. He played well. He had good moments. Yeah, he had some negative moments, but of course, he's a rookie. And a rookie with physical limitations. Think about that. He has physical limitations, and he has also limitations on the offense because he didn't really know the playbook. And he wasn't the guy getting all the number one reps. It helps when you're getting all the number one reps, man. That was Fitz, and that was Herbert. But nobody takes, I'm sorry, again, I almost said that. Some folks out there did not take that into account. And plenty of pundits also. And now they're all eating effing crow. And look, I'm not going to go overboard and tell you he's arrived. But I've already gone out on a limb and told you I think the kid's going to be a stud. I said it last year, and I'm going to say it again this year. But you got to give the young man some time. And he isn't even playing with all his weapons yet. And he looks comfortable as hell. He's playing with several guys that probably aren't even going to make the damn roster. So what we're watching now is just a beautiful development of this young man and what he is doing now and making you feel. I mean, look at on Saturday. The other thing that stood out to me that I absolutely loved was the pocket presence. They haven't had a young guy with that kind of pocket presence since Marino. Marino would slide one way, slide another, buy himself some time. You watched him. It was football tango. It was boom, 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 boom. I mean, it was beautiful, dude. He knew eyes up, eyes looking and manipulating the pocket and moving with it and finding a hole in the pocket to make a throw. I mean, he did that I want to say 3 times in the game on Saturday night. And how important is that? You got a young line that's developing. They're not going to be perfect. There are things that are going to happen. And one of the things that I talked about that for me is the sign of a real franchise quarterback is, can you play in chaos? Can you play when the pocket breaks down? Can you play when pressure forces you to do something else? Are you going to now lose your mind and your eyes aren't going to be on the field and now you're on the pass rush and you're trying to avoid it and run like running quarterbacks do? Or can you maintain your vision and use your periphery to move away from the pressure? And he's done that a couple times already in the first 2 games. And that's not something you teach. 17 could never do that. He still can't do that. And he still can't play in chaos either. Everything has to be scripted and go the way it's scripted. Once you're off script, he's done. Kind of like Lamar Jackson. Done. They got to now run. They got to do whatever, throw the ball away, but they're flustered at that point because their mind can't handle that next level. And that's what Mahomes does. That's what Drew Brees does. That's what Tom Brady's done. That's what Dan Marino did. That's what John Elway does. All the great quarterbacks have that it factor that when things are breaking down and you know you're playing with your third left tackle and you're manipulating the coverages and you're trying to get passes off as quick as possible to help your offensive line and all that kind of stuff and adjust, that's what you need. And that's what you have in this young man. I can already tell you that he's that kind of cat. And then the accuracy, the ball placement, all of those things. And his arm, that's the other thing that I had to hear all of, like, oh, his arm's not that, yeah, he doesn't have a cannon. Okay, I get it. A howitzer, right, is what they, no, he doesn't have an absolute ginormous arm, but his arm is more than good enough to make any throw you need on the field. And especially when you have timing, when you have anticipation, those things help you out in making any play on the football field. It doesn't really matter because you're seeing things develop before they actually develop. That throw he threw to Gesicki down the seam, that's a throw you got to see ahead of time because you're throwing it between three guys. Like if they would have shown like the proper angle for that, you would see that he's throwing through a couple of windows there, which is impressive because he is watching where the play is going to end up, and that's where he's putting it in a spot where Gesicki's going to be. When you have that in your arsenal, when you have that in your vision, you're ahead of most quarterbacks that are coming into this league because most guys cannot do that. Most guys cannot see that. They don't have that football foresight. In other words, if we could call it that, which is not really what it is, but, in a way. And so this is why I love what's been going on with the development of Tua, because there's an F load of people that are eating crow right now because you overreacted. Because you made a decision on a person that has been a baller at all levels, came off the bench and won a national championship for Alabama, has proven that he can play in high-pressure situations in the best football league in college football. And then you assume that his skill sets don't translate to this one. Because I remember my favorite line from some of you lazy people out there are, well, no, he plays with a lot of talent. So what is that? Who cares about that, dude? You think he's the last quarterback to play with great talent? Tons of quarterbacks, but can you make the plays? And he showed you that plenty of times at Alabama. Look, the only thing I've ever been concerned about with the kid is the injury history. That's it. Nothing else. I'm not worried about anything else. And so to me, I find it funny now watching people eat crow about Tua, because now all those friends of yours that were jamming on Tua, they can't say a damn thing right now. All those media members that were, and I see them all backtracking on national television. Oh, well, yeah, Tua looks. Well, what do you expect, dude? Of course he's going to look better now. Use a little common sense. Don't you understand what the man went through last year? It's actually amazing what he did last year. That's the problem. We downplay and criticize, some of us downplay and criticize what he did last year instead of praising the hell out of what he did last year. And that's why you're watching the transition now. It's a lot of fun, man. It makes, and again, I'm not getting crazy that the Dolphins have arrived or anything like that. But I'm just telling you, they played better, right? I mean, that's kind of what you want. They played well. And Atlanta sat some of their guys. Well, Miami did what they were supposed to do. They dominated them. Now, if they would have struggled against them and all of then that would have been a problem. But last week they did terrific. Was it Susie who's always on the chat board? She was all like bent out of shape because they lost last week. And I think I kind of like enlightened her that they didn't lose last week. They won last week. They dominated that first half. I don't care about the backups in the second half. The guys that counted, they took care of business. And again this week, the guys that counted, they took care of business. And there were a ton of positives coming out of it. That's all that really matters when it's all said and done. Good morning, everybody. I hope you all are doing well out there on a beautiful Monday. Omar Kelly is set to join us in about 14 minutes. At 10:30, we'll talk to Omar. We'll get his assessment of what's going on. For those of you that are new, Omar Kelly joins us exclusively here. You won't hear him anywhere else in South Florida. He joins us every Monday and every Friday with the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphin reports. Alan Poupart joins us also every Tuesday and Saturdays also to do a little Miami Dolphins with our Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insider Report. We've got Manny Navarro. He joins us every Tuesday and Fridays with our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report. And Ira Winderman will be stopping by tomorrow on Tuesday and Friday for our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat Report. And then on Wednesday, we have Clay Ferrara along with Ira Winderman doing a whole hour of basketball with our Inside the Paint program. Hopefully tomorrow we will tell you about a new addition to the program, and it should be on the Dolphin side, giving you more Dolphin insight. So more football, more Dolphin insight. We'll be adding another segment tomorrow. Looking forward to it. So we should have some big time news for you guys also tomorrow on the program. We continue to add, and remember, in a couple of weeks, we will be doing our pre and post game show for the Miami Dolphins live from Sports Grill in Miami Lakes, right off of the Palmetto, and the one on Bird Road and 114th. We will alternate the two sites, half a season in one, half a season in the other. We won't be bouncing back 1 week to another. No, we'll do the whole half of one season in one and the whole half of one season in another. So this will be the place you can come to for unbiased and objective coverage of your Miami Dolphins. We will have a 2-hour pregame show and a 2-hour postgame show for you. We'll take your comments, all kinds of stuff. And remember, many ways to communicate with us. The YouTube chat board is already smoking hot, and we appreciate all of you out there. Yahoo email, Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com. Twitter at Big O Show. And, of course, you can support the program through Cash App and Venmo. The address is Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. And one of the most important things that you'll do is please smash that like button right now as you're watching the program. Please smash the like button. Let's get that thing to several hundred, and let's get the algorithm going so other people can find out about the show and support us as we give you the best Dolphins and Heat and Panthers and Marlins and Inter Miami and Canes coverage every single day, starting off at 10 a.m. So Omar Kelly will join us at 10:30. Smash that like button. I got a bunch of things that I want to talk about with this game. The Tua overreaction, obviously. The Tua pocket manipulation was beautiful. Eichenberg, the offensive line played better this week. And I got to tell you something, watching Eichenberg play, I think Eichenberg needs to get the start at right tackle. I think you need to start this week. You got to get him in there and get him playing, because this young man looked good, actually did a really good job overall taking over from Jesse Davis. And it looks like Jesse Davis is kind of hobbling a little bit. It looks like he's not 100%. And if you start Eichenberg, this might give Jesse Davis some time also to recover and get as healthy as possible. But Eichenberg really looked comfortable this past week than prior weeks from practice to anything else he's done. The kid really looked comfortable this past week. And, you're so worried about right tackle with him, and he has to adjust because he's played on the left side the entire time. You know what I'm saying? So this has been kind of a challenge for him. And you worry about it because mentally, I'm sure it plays with him a little bit because he has to habitually learn everything from the right side, from the left to the right. So he's so used to doing everything left-handed. Now he's got to do everything right-handed, and it becomes a challenge for him. But what I thought was he played really well this past week. And if you can get him some more playing time now, he'll have another, 10, 12 days or whatever until he plays again against New England at 4 o'clock on that Sunday. And this will be an opportunity for him to rest and recharge and get ready for New England. And I would love to see him start because I think Jesse Davis as your backup would be absolutely amazing. It would be the right thing. It gives him time to heal, gives him time to recover. Plus, he's a veteran. And a guy like Jesse is used to coming in on a pinch and helping you out at tackle or at guard or any of those positions. So since he's already used to that, I'd start Eichenberg already. I'd get the young man in there. He looked a lot more decisive in his play this past week. I was really happy overall with the line. You know, I thought Austin Jackson had a decent week. I thought the guys in the interior played all right. They got the running game going. They opened up enough holes. The running game looked good, right? Gaskins played well. I mean, Malcolm also played well. I mean, everything kind of looked pretty good this week. You felt good about it. Again, I know Atlanta rested some guys, but I'd rather you go out there and play well. You know, one of the things they did was they committed 2 penalties all game long. They've been one of the least penalized teams for the first 2 years under Brian Flores, which is, think about this. I want you to think about what Brian Flores is doing, okay? You take over a team that you tear it down the first year, so you're loaded with young guys, right? And you got all these crazy people telling you, oh, they're tanking, and they were never tanking. As we told you, they were trying to win with young people when that was going on. In the process, he taught those young people how to play smart football. That's why in the second half of the season, they went 5-4, and they beat New England in New England. Why? Because they weren't beating themselves more often than not. And that's usually what penalties do. They kill you. They beat you. They hurt your field position, all of those things. So you think, okay, well, maybe it was flukish. He did it 1 year. He did it again last year. He's doing it again in the preseason. And this is a team loaded with a bunch of guys that aren't going to make it. Street free agents, undrafted free agents, all kinds of guys that are new to the system, and yet 2 penalties. I don't think people give Flo enough credit for how good of a coach this guy is. This is something we used to brag about all the time with Shula. How his teams are usually the smarter team on the field. That's why they stood around that football in the snow and they allowed silly ass Leon Lett to slide in and touch the ball because they knew the rules. Little things like that we were so spoiled with as Dolphin fans because we knew that Shula would coach his team up to the point that they were smarter than the other team. When they had a scab team years ago, Shula's scab team was one of the least penalized teams in the league, and they were scabs. That's why Bum Phillips would say he can beat you with his'n, and then he can beat you, or he can get yours in and beat you with his'n, or whatever the hell it was, however that saying was. But, you know, Bum would say, well, Shula's going to beat you with his guys, and then he'll get your guys and beat you also with your guys. You know, it's just one of those things. That was Shula. That's this. Again, I don't want to go to the extreme that this is Shula, but this is the best coach since Shula. Yeah. And I've said this before. Since Shula, nobody is Shoes. Nobody will ever be Shoes. He's just like Pat Riley. Those are 2 godfathers in our sports town that are above everybody else. We all know that. But the characteristics of Shula, they certainly are all over Brian Flores. It is impressive. 2 penalties in a preseason game. That's ridiculous. And again, ladies and gentlemen, you want to know why your team is 15-10 since that 0-7 start that first year under them? It's because of things like that. Because you've got a team that's not going to beat themselves more often than not. And we've got to, the good thing is a lot of you have been patient, but obviously we have a section of fans that are impatient, and they have to they've got to find something to complain about. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It really is. I just hope, like I've told you guys several times, embrace all of this. 2 years ago, when this whole teardown started, I told you embrace this. These people are actually building a football team the right way. And it's been a great ride. And it only is going to get better from here on out. That's the beauty of all of this. Remember to smash the hell out of the like button. We need you to smash that like button. That will be the most important thing that you do, is smash that like button. We appreciate all of you keeping it locked here and supporting us. Omar Kelly will be joining us at the bottom of the hour. We will have some fun with Omar here, and we'll talk plenty of things Miami Dolphins. Isai says, Big O, do you think Justin Fields now realizes the NFL is faster than what he thought? Yeah, I mean, he's a youngin', man. And they're all going to go through growing pains. He's a good kid. He took a hell of a hit this week, too. Martin Leiden out in across the pond says, good afternoon, everyone. We have our QB. Now let's go smash the East. Damn right. Damn right. Mario Rossetti says, I totally agree with you. Susie V is in. Let's see, what else do we have here? Manuel says, Gesicki looked elite, and to think I thought he was a bust after his rookie year. Boy, I was wrong. Well, that's the problem. You can't call anybody a bust after 1 year. Unless you thought they couldn't play from the get-go. That may be fine. But, I mean, Gesicki was a star in Penn State. So you got to give the kid some time, man. This isn't an easy league to adjust to. You know what I'm saying? We have to be a little more patient with him, and he's developed into a really nice player. Okay? Big O, now Tua needs to be mandated to the Tua slide in the training facility till he gets it. Yeah, he needs to slide. I'm with you there. Vivinetti says, what's up, Big O? Been telling everyone I know to be patient. Tua's going to be special. Now they're saying the dude, you were right. Well, of course. Just got to be patient. You got to give the kid some time. Everything will develop, man. That's all. All right, let's do this. Let's talk a little Miami Dolphins. Omar Kelly and the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. We're going to do that next. There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal support.
The Big O Radio Show is home for the hardcore Dolphins fan. That's why we give you Omar Kelly twice a week. Buckle up. It's time for the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show.
Righty. It is time to rock and roll, baby. Yes, it's the segment you guys look forward to all the time, twice a week, right here. Omar Kelly and the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. Let's get into it. Oh, how was your weekend, sir? You doing all right? Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Wait. Let's try it. Let's try it again. You got to unmute. Here we go. All right, go ahead now. Oh, wait. Let me do it. There we go. Go ahead.
Okay. Baby's sick, so she's home with me now. Did not go to daycare, and I'm daddy daycare today. So luckily I timed it just right, and I have her falling asleep right before my EJDconstruction.com segment with Big O.
All right. I like it. I like it. I like it. And I like what I saw again on Saturday night, man. I thought the boys looked good. I know the Falcons rested some guys.
Rested some guys. That was first team versus second team. What you talking about?
But, hey, at least they dominated. They did what they were supposed to do. In the past, I've seen where sometimes they struggle against backups or backups struggle against other backups, and then we're complaining about depth and all that kind of stuff. Listen, you wanted them to go out and do what they were supposed to do against the second team, and they did it, dude. And I don't think you can ask for more than that.
And let's make sure that we put it where people can reach it. They did it with not really their first string wide receivers. I mean, Tua looks good and efficient, and he hasn't had at least 5 of his best weapons yet from a receiver standpoint. But what I've always said, and it's true, this is a deep team from a receiver standpoint, from a tight end standpoint, and from a running back standpoint. I think because of Patrick Laird's sort of resurrection, because he didn't really start out camp strong, I think they've got 4 quality backs that can help them. They've got 5 to 4 quality tight ends. I do see Ethan Carter making the 53 initially and then being put on IR. I broke down today my projection of the 53-man roster is coming out on the Sun Sentinel, and I'm excited for people to see that. And I'll break it down to you. I got 8 receivers on my 50.
How much did it pain you to put in Jakeem Grant that made the team, huh? How much did it pain you?
We'll see. I still believe that some team is going to offer up a nice little 5th-round pick, and Jakeem will be shoppity-shopped.
You are delusional. There's no shot they get rid of him.
There is no shot they get. There is no shot that they release.
Did you watch somebody take a shot to the knee on Saturday night?
Listen.
Huh? That was a reminder. Keep Jakeem around.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's a good point.
I've been telling you that from day one. You're not going to put Jalen back.
Here's my point. Just hear me out. Tua got nobody but Jalen Waddle. And yet Jakeem hasn't stepped up, right?
So talk about he makes every play they throw to him. What?
I'm not. We're not discussing Jakeem Grant anymore. We're done. It's over. I got 8 receivers. Jakeem happens to be one of them. I really do believe that they can fit 8 on from this standpoint. Fuller's going to be suspended week 1, so he doesn't even count against your 53.
I got you.
Devontae and Lynn Bowden. I saw Lynn Bowden barely be able to walk on Saturday after the game. Looks like he's headed to IR. He'll be there for, they got it. And Devontae, I really think you could put Devontae on IR to begin the season. If he doesn't practice this week, it's IR you go for me. Because
I think they're slow walking that one. I think they're in.
They are.
Yeah, I bet you he can play if he had to.
One of the two, Devontae or Preston, need to go on IR for me to make my receiver unit and room the way that I need it to be. Somebody got to do 3 weeks on IR. So
why you got to put either one of them out? How come both can't play?
Because I want to make sure that I keep everybody that I want to keep, and that means somebody has to go on IR for 3 weeks. So
let's put somebody that's actually injured. I don't think
Devontae's injured.
I don't think so. I bet you he can play if they really wanted him to play.
No, when they start doing that every other practice thing, they're injured. He's got some soft tissue injury, which Devontae always has, and it's basically be smart about it and have Devontae ready for the regular season. If he doesn't practice this week, I think that this is way more serious than they've let on. Because remember, he practiced every other week, like 2 weeks ago, every other day, 2 weeks ago. Then they shut him down completely.
Right.
So
that's true.
They shut him down completely. It wasn't like, oh, let's do rehab assignment. No, it was you're shut down. So this is something a little bit more serious than what they're letting on. And thank God they got to tell you what the injuries are when the regular season arrives. Jesus Christ.
I disagree with you. I don't think they keep 8. There's no shot in hell. I think it's 6 with a possible 7. And I'm
Hold
looking.
on. Understand, my 8 is with Fuller going on. Fuller being suspended, so that gives me an extra spot. So really, I'm at 7. And right now, Lynn Bowden Jr. is going to be initially on the IR, but then initially on the 53, but then go on IR. Hopefully, they'll claim some players and then use him as a roster spot till he gets healthy. So that's really 6. So I'm at 6. I'm realistically at 6. If Devontae gives me a little bit of flexibility right here.
Yeah, for week 2, let's just put it this way. I got Parker, Preston, Waddle, Fuller, Hollins, and Grant. That's your 6. And if they keep 7, obviously it's between Bowden, Foster, Merritt, and Perry battling.
It's not even a debate. It's Bowden. And
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
And I think it's easy you do that. You put him on IR. You keep him first day on 53 and then IR the next day. He could barely walk when I saw him with that. He's got a hamstring strain.
They may try to sneak, and you can sneak Merritt onto the practice squad. He's looked
good.
Merritt,
I like him. But even if somebody claims him, I'll get another go round with him. So, it's not, and understand Merritt is a guy who's got some significant baggage to him. So it's not like every team's just going to be like, yeah, come on down. Let me add you to
I know, but I got to give the kid credit. He has played well.
He's not only, and the funny thing is the guys that I could always tell with like Sam Eglavon, he had been practicing well before he went out with COVID. And the guys who practice well, like Isaiah Ford, and you forgot about Isaiah Ford, even though he's
done. And notice what I told you from day one. Albert Wilson ain't making this team.
Well, Albert Wilson is absolutely making this team, no question.
No, he's not. He's not even on my. He's not even in my. Bro, he's not even the 10 I talked to you about.
Major oversight on your part, by the way.
He's done. He's a limited player. He's hurt and limited. He can only help your receiver. If he's not a starter, Omar, he cannot make this team.
Albert Wilson was your top playmaker I've seen in a Dolphins uniform in a practice for 14 years.
And broke down again.
Nah, he's being rested. Trust me. He's done more than enough.
So Parker's not healthy.
No. Parker's definitely not healthy because he went from every other day practicing to completely shut down for 2 weeks. Trust me, Parker's not healthy.
I don't know how you see Wilson making it. He's unreliable.
Wilson was the most dynamic player that I've seen in a Dolphins uniform since Brandon Marshall in 2009. The first week that he practiced, and then he shut it down. And it's a groin or a calf or I don't know what it is. But the Dolphins were like, yeah, you good, shut it down. Wilson is without a doubt not just on this roster. You're creating plays for him.
I think he's the guy they try to trade.
No,
he's the guy they try to trade.
Nah, not even happening. Not even. Wilson, the way he was balling, oh, man. Like what you would expect. If I would have put any name on Albert Wilson's plays, Dolphin fans would be so excited right now. If I said Jalen Waddle was making Albert Wilson's plays or Will Fuller was making Albert Wilson's plays or Preston Williams was making Albert Wilson's plays, y'all would be talking about Pro Bowls. How quickly you forget about Albert Wilson, the guy who led the league in yards after the catch before he suffered that hip injury.
Well, that's what my problem. He had the hip injury. Now he's injured again, and then he stepped out for COVID.
So is everybody else in the receiver room. What you want? So is everybody else in the receiver room.
So you had another injury guy?
Everybody else is injured?
And not only is he an injury guy, he's also limited. He doesn't help you out on special teams. That's why the guys on the back end that I picked are the guys that are two-way players that can help you out in special teams. Matt Collins is on this damn team because he's horrific as a receiver, and he's a deadly special teams player. The guy's awesome.
Yeah, Matt Collins has earned his roster spot. So has, I'm not going to say somebody else.
Grant, baby.
Listen. If we're apples and oranges, Like, if we're just comparing the two, Albert Wilson's here. Jakeem Grant is way down here in terms of hierarchy roster spot.
You realize that Jakeem Grant is the more decorated player and the more accomplished player, right?
Not
Albert Wilson's been nothing but a backup his entire career.
What is Jakeem been?
Is
A return specialist. He's not even a receiver. You're not going to have me talk about Jakeem Grant.
A return
specialist.
More
Jakeem Grant slander.
He's an elite return specialist. Elite. Okay? Jakeem Grant is elite. Albert Wilson isn't elite in the cafeteria. Okay? In the cafeteria.
We'll see when the season gets here. Who makes more plays? We'll see.
All right. Let's move over to the line. The way I'm looking at it, your boy is playing with a flat tire.
Who?
The best thing to do is start Eichenberg, leave Jesse as your sixth man, buy him time to recover, and he is obviously the most versatile guy you have, comfortable going left and right and playing multiple positions. I like what I saw from Eichenberg. I know it's
against backups.
Okay, but at least what I like is that it looked to me fundamentally he played a pretty clean game. Even at times when he started to lose some battles, he was still trying to fight back and overcome it. I like what I saw from Eichenberg. I saw a more comfortable player. I know, but still, he's been struggling at times, and this is all new to him on the right side. I got to give him a little love, bro. I thought he played well.
I hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree with it, except for you're not factoring in Jesse Davis as the leader of that line.
I get that. I
don't think it's.
Are you doing him a service if he's not healthy, doggy?
I'm not disagreeing with you. I said after OTAs, they should have went in on that knee, scoped it, got that loose cartilage taken care of, sat him out during training camp, and then maybe, bring him back right about now. They didn't do that. That's not the route that they went. I understand exactly where you're coming from. Jesse says he's fine. Now,
come on, bro. They're all going to tell you they're fine. Plus, if they talk about their injury, they're going to the principal's office, and you know that.
And Jesse's talked about his injury because he knows I'm not no sucker. I'm not no fool. So you're not gonna fool me on this is serious, and I am concerned. I think that they're gonna ride Jesse till the wheels fall off, and I don't know if it's the better of the alternatives, because I will say this. Brian Flores is very adamant that he is going to start his best five. Whoever the best five is, that's who he's going to start, and he'll figure out where he plays them. So we'll see. But the question is Liam Eichenberg in that top five? Is he top five over Solomon Kindley, who I will say has redeemed himself primarily because he helps the pocket from a pass protection standpoint. While he gives you nothing in the run game, he keeps Tua's pocket a little bit more secure. It's hard to move all 350 pounds of him. So, hey, and if we want to, it's either you get running lanes or you get a secure pocket. Your choice.
By the way, Hunt had a really nice block, a seal block that he opened it up beautiful for Gaskins on one of those.
I forget what that play was. I tweeted about it. I was it Gaskins?
Yeah, it was Gaskins.
Hunt, I don't worry about.
Hunt, that was a really.
I even think Austin Jackson will get it together.
He actually played all right too.
Against nobody.
He did a nice job. But the worst thing would have been if they played like shit, and then we're like, oh my god, you know what I mean? So
if it was Dante Fowler out there that he played like that, then I'd be like, and he redeemed himself after the tough week in Chicago, after a tough first joint practice. He redeemed himself and played well. I really have a high opinion of Austin Jackson. I think he's going to be an okay starting left tackle. I like Robert Hunt, especially at right guard. And I think he can even play right tackle. I'm not saying that he can't play right tackle, because that would be something I would consider if something happened to Jesse. But it really comes down to the top five. Who's in that top five? Right now, Jesse is number one. He's not 4 or 5. Jesse's number one. So it's hard for me to sit here, and I hear where you're coming from in terms of making him the utility guy, but it's hard for me to go from my number one offensive lineman needs to be my sixth guy. Like, no, Jesse's now, is he all the way healthy? No, but
that's the reason why. That's the only reason why I mention it, because I thought Eichenberg was comfortable enough, and I would imagine that this week they're going to give Eichenberg a boatload of playing time. You would play the whole line actually with Brissett this week. I would do that.
I would shut Jesse down. There's a number of players I would not practice would not play anymore, would not practice anymore.
I wouldn't play Tua this week.
I'm not sure I play this week either. I think we've seen enough. I think we know what's there, and it's as I said, and we talked about it in the last show that we did on Friday, and I'm glad we talked about it because people have me pinned as a Tua hater, which is just factually inaccurate. I was behind Tua, tank for Tua the whole time for an entire year. You
had a bib on, I believe, in the combine when he was at the podium. I believe there was a bib under you picking up all that drool that you had going on.
Listen. It is what it is, but it's about accuracy, anticipation, pocket presence. Things you cannot teach. You saw him work that pocket three times. It was so beautiful.
I call it football tango. I mean, it was doom, doom, doom. I mean, it was beautiful, and he stays up looking the entire time. They haven't had a young since Marino. They haven't had a young quarterback like that since Marino.
I don't.
None of their young guys.
I would never want to ever compare anybody to Marino on anything, but pocket presence is so elite. It's right, and I watch it in practice too. Even though there's no pass rush, he works on it. He practices it. He doesn't just sit there and stand in the pocket and know not that these. That's the thing about Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler, and people don't get this. Jay Cutler was a phenomenal practice player. When he knew nobody was gonna hit him, he stand in that pocket and fire that thing.
Yeah, he's Jeff George, bro. Trust me.
Then when people were coming at him. When people were coming at him, trying to hit him, he played hot potato with the ball. He's like, oh, no, pressure coming. Got to get rid of it.
Jeff George. Same thing.
I learned from that. Tua, it's so beautiful to watch him practice. It truly is. Red zone, I can tell you, red zone 7-on-7s. If he throws 10 balls, 7 of them are touchdowns.
I can tell you this. Over the next couple of years, this will be the greatest red zone percentage offense for the Miami Dolphins in their history. You're going to have to go back to Marino or
Pennington was phenomenal. Red zone.
This kid's going to smoke everybody because he's got more athleticism than Pennington, so he's going to end up making more plays. What I'm saying is, on those plays that Pennington could not make a move because he can't move, those are the other plays, extra plays that Tua is going to end up making in that red zone. This will be the best red zone offense the Dolphins have had in decades now.
I don't know about this year, but in time, people got to understand.
This year he'll smoke everybody that's been the last 20 years, which is not saying much.
Pennington was. I think they had the best red zone offense in the NFL in 2008.
Yeah, and he threw a total of like 22 touchdowns. It's not. Trust me, this is going to be
Pennington was a very high bar.
Better weapons here, better offense here than that one.
Pennington is a very. If Tua becomes Pennington of 2008, I'm good. I'm satisfied.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, he'll become Pennington of 2008 on steroids. Instead of 22 touchdowns, it'll be 32, 33, 34 touchdowns. Watch. Go ahead.
So you'll see. I think he's going to be very good in time. I don't know about this season, but in time he's going to be he needs to see what defenses are going to throw at him.
Of course.
Create that archives. And when he does that, he's going to be very good.
Eguavon, how do you view what has been going on with Eguavon? Because I can tell you, Cam Wake had to go to the CFL for a couple years and figure things out and came back and made himself a player. Mark Dixon had to do the same thing. Is Eguavon a solid backup, or is he the guy that maybe is now starting to come into his own and maybe he starts to be challenging for some starting playing time? How do you view?
I think that I have a high respect for Eguavon. People don't remember when he came here from the CFL, he immediately unseated Raekwon McMillan and became the starter. Then he struggled, lost the job back to Raekwon, and they moved him to defensive end, which was a little bit odd. And they did that with the understanding or with the thought process of there's something special there as a pass rusher that we need to tap into. And this was the first camp where I was like expecting him to still be a defensive end or at least get moved to outside linebacker. And then here he is back as an inside linebacker. And I was like, huh? And so now we're watching him sort of put together the pass rushing that he spent a year working on with the inside linebacker skills and instincts. And I like what I see. I like an interior linebacker who's a blitz threat. Now you put him in that I don't know what they call it now. We used to call it elephant package back in many coaches ago, where everybody's standing up and everybody's hovering around and you don't know who's coming and you don't know who's going.
I love that formation.
Yeah, you put him in that. You put him in that.
Doesn't he call it the amoeba defense or something like
that?
that?
Yeah, something like that. I've been through so many damn coaches that we've called it so many damn different things. It sticks out to me as the elephant. From the standpoint, the elephant in the room is trying to identify who somebody they got to identify and what his role is and what he's doing. That's how I've always learned it. I don't really get the amoeba anyway, but that's just, there you go. Flores one is not going to tell you what he really calls anything. So I don't know if that's a media made up name or if it's a Flores made up name. It is what it is. But I think I always thought he was on this roster. And as I said, coming out of Chicago, I thought he had been practicing well in Chicago. Then he gets popped with COVID, sits out, misses 2 joint practices, comes back, fresh legs. They clearly played the crap out of him. And literally when he's having the success that he's having, they just kept calling those plays. And he kept eating. And I'm so proud of him because, I would say nobody has really had a tougher go of it during the Flores era, because he's gone from CFL journeyman to NFL starter to disappointing starter bench to we got to change his position. He barely makes the team. We've got some injuries. He plays. He doesn't do well. Special teams, is he helping us? Is he not helping us? He's been the 47th guy on the roster for a year and probably will continue to be 47th guy on the roster. But now I think he's proven and done enough to show that, hey, I can be an NFL star.
What do you hear about Jalen Phillips?
Oh, he played a crap load of snaps. I got to look at what the snap count was. If they played him that much, they got to feel that he's healthy, and they needed to make up the snaps that he lost in the first game so that they could have a body of film to look. He only had like 1 tackle during the game, so I watched the film. I didn't see anything glaringly bad nor glaringly good, so they clearly have work to do.
Waddle, does he play this week? Because I would imagine they'd hold him out this week after taking that shot. I love that he came back and everything, but man, that when I saw him wincing in pain on the field, I was like, no, man, this is not what we need right now, bro. I don't want to see this. I don't want to have this kind of news before the damn season starts.
If it were me, I would have shut him down after the injury, and he would not play next week. I said to some of my media friends before the game, I said, why the hell is Waddle playing? And people don't realize this. People don't want to believe this. He's not all the way healthy. And you could think whatever you want. I'm giving him those. They have 21 days from the point of the game on Saturday till they start the regular season. I'm giving him this week. He's not even practicing this week. That's just me. So we'll see. I'm saying all you broke up ass receivers, Get on this practice field. Jalen, sit your ass down.
Well, I think this week, because you and I agreed that this was the dress rehearsal.
Yes.
I think this week is the back end of the roster game.
Yes, it is.
Why play Waddle? This is where you want
Merritt. No. But the guys who need work.
Let me tell you. Your boy, Albert Wilson, if his ass is healthy, you better get him out on the field a little bit, because if he doesn't get out on the field, then you're like, well, wait a minute. This guy only had a week and a half of great practice. What are we going to do? Put him on the regular season roster? That doesn't make any sense.
Absolutely. No question.
Trade his ass. Trade his ass. He's unreliable. Trade his ass. No, but I'm serious. Wilson is a kid that needs to play this week.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
He's
But
not reliable enough to say,
all those guys, they got to practice right now, so we can see whether or not we need to put you on IR or not. You got to practice this week. It's time.
Right. Yeah.
It's time. Give me two.
Lim Bowden is another one that needs a lot of work this week too.
No, he's done.
All those kind of young guys.
He's done. Lim Bowden is he can barely walk, bro.
So he won't make it this week, you think?
Nah, he's not practicing this week. There's no way.
So then he's headed definitely for the IR.
Yeah,
he's one of those guys.
That's a safe move right there. That's a safe move. You keep him on the initial 53. Next day, you put him on the IR to make a spot for somebody you claimed off the waiver wire.
What else did you come away with on the offensive line? Like Dieter. What'd you think of him?
I'm still undecided on Dieter. I understand they weren't playing nobody against Atlanta.
I get that, but you still have to do your job. And
you do.
The second stringer's still trying to embarrass you.
I would rather see Michael Dieter do his job against Grady Jarrett than nobody. So you understand what I'm saying? It'll be okay to start the season, but you know what's on my list of waiver wire claims? I'm going out there. One, I'm claiming a tackle, or maybe a guard, because I like what I saw from Greg Little in the first game. I was like, okay, I can work with that.
He's got talent.
And in fact, he was athletic enough. I said, maybe I could put him at left guard.
Yeah, remember that first year it was all injuries, and then then the new coaching staff came in, and it wasn't their guy, and then they brought in a whole bunch of other guys, and he kind of became a forgotten. He really hasn't had a full go yet to find out whether he's a successful player or a failure.
Yeah. So but I'm claiming a center. I'm claiming a cornerback. And I'm also claiming a running back. Those are the things that I'm being aggressive on the waiver wire with from this standpoint. You got Ahmed Salvan off the waiver wire, and he's your second best back. You never know what you can find on the waiver wire. You also need a cornerback to develop, because I just don't see a young guy on this roster that can really help me right now. Noah. They put him in the nickel, and it was bad. It wasn't good, and I'm starting to get a little bit concerned. And then obviously I want a center, because Matt Skura, I'm not sure he makes my team. I might waive him just so that I don't have to guarantee his contract, and then maybe bring him back week 2. Now I know I'm being greedy, but I don't want to guarantee his contract for the whole season, and I'm just not real comfortable with what I've seen during training camp.
Yeah, Skura hasn't necessarily been impressive at all.
No.
Overall, he's been very pedestrian. Let's just say he hasn't been terrible, but
he's been terrible.
But he's been pedestrian, I would say.
32 teams. There are going to be 32 centers out there, at least 32 centers out there. Like, you telling me one can't help you? One can't come in here and challenge Michael Dieter? Like, I know there is. I know there's got to be.
No, if they're releasing them, I doubt they're releasing anybody that's starting caliber at this point. That might be a little too much of a stretch. I think you try to find a good backup.
We didn't think Michael Dieter was a starting caliber player too. So
he's a third round pick that you drafted and you've developed.
Yeah. And there's going to be there's going to be Greg Littles out there, man. There's going to be Greg Littles out there. A new coaching staff, new regime.
Right.
They want their guys. They want to invest in their guys. They're gonna let me find a player that's probably going to get shoved out the door here. Jason Strowbridge. They're going to Jason Strowbridge, their guy, and you never know. You never know what you could find and develop and pick up. I'm a big waiver wire guy. I've always been.
Does Strowbridge make the team, by the way? No.
Practice squad, him and Ledbetter.
Practice squad. Yeah.
Him and Ledbetter. And in fact, I think Ledbetter is more of a priority. Ledbetter's played better than Strowbridge.
He's played better, actually. Yeah, he's played better.
He's played better. So
Strowbridge has a size issue, I think. It looks like it, right? He's not a big guy.
He's a jag.
Yeah.
He's a jag.
He's a late round pick.
Yeah.
Running backs. So you have Laird making it, you think? Because
Laird is probably my 50. Laird is probably my 52nd player.
Damn. Because if you got them searching for a back, then you got Laird's job on the line.
I do.
That's what I was saying.
I do. I mean, I'm gonna put him on my practice squad when nobody claims him. But
I like him as a receiver. I don't like him at all running the ball.
No, he's done better. He's done better running the ball, and there's something to him that Laird is going to be running an NFL team in like 10 years, and I think no matter what, he's going to be around here. But I don't know if I keep him on my 53. I just feel like you can do better. And I don't have Dokes making it either. Dokes is on my practice squad.
He caught the only pass they threw to him this week, so he did all right. He got what was it, like 9 for 30 or something?
Those hands, man. Those hands, they need some work. He needs a whole year with a jugs machine.
He caught one. So who are your backup offensive linemen right now?
Adam Pankey, Greg Little, Adam Pankey, and then I've got Skura making it just barely, but he's you know how I feel. If I can claim there are 32 centers gonna be out there, Big O. 32.
Yeah.
32. You got a whole scouting staff. Scouting every single game in this league. Somebody needs to come home with a center.
Wow, that's 32 third and fourth string centers.
Hey, no. Some second string. Okay, you're right. Third and fourth string center. Somebody's got to come home with a center. Somebody is out there just chewing people up, and he just can't find a spot on the Green Bay Packers, or he's on a veteran line where they're gonna keep like New England, where they're just gonna keep all the vets, but he's out there tearing people up. I don't know who he is, but somebody on the staff needs to go find him.
One more thing before I let you go. Gaskin locked it up, right? I mean, if there was any doubt there was no doubt that Ahmed may be able to challenge.
Ahmed is better than him as a pass catcher.
I agree.
Ahmed is really Reggie Bush-esque.
Yeah,
he's got that Reggie Bush thing where he's just, if you put him on a linebacker, that linebacker is toast. But Ahmed cannot pass protect to save his life. He nearly got Tua killed in that game, and I almost blamed that on Solomon Kinley. And I was just about to roast Solomon, and then I watched the replay, and I saw it was Ahmed. I was like, oh Lord. I
was sitting behind you. I caught you. You were typing in Jakeem Grant, actually.
Oh,
that's
wow.
who you were going to blame it on. I mean, I'm like, come on, bro. Why are you blaming Jakeem on here? Is that how much?
Listen, there will be from August 23rd, which is today, up until August 31st, there shall be no more Jakeem slander from me. God bless him. God bless him. Listen. Jakeem he's already earned my respect as a return specialist. I know who he is as a receiver. He's not going to help you, but you know what? He still belongs in the NFL. So props to him.
Yes. I mean, Devin Hester, absolutely. Devin Hester was a worse receiver than he was. Okay. Devin Hester should be in the Hall of Fame. Okay.
Devin Hester does not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
Returner? Damn, he's the greatest returner ever.
since when did we put people in the Hall of Fame just for their return roles?
If we're putting them for punting, god damn it, we're putting them in for returns.
Not first ballot. I will discuss it.
I didn't say first ballot, Omar. I just said he belongs.
No. People are talking about him being a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I'm bothered by that.
I didn't say first ballot. I just said if you're the greatest returner in the history of the game, if you're going to put the greatest fucking field goal kicker punter, you better put in the better returner. Right? You're speechless, of course, because they make a difference.
My first ballot. This is the year for Zach, and this is the year for Zach because it's weak from a first ballot standpoint. There's DeMarcus Ware. And then Vince Wilfork, in my mind, belongs in the Hall of Fame as a first ballot guy. And then after that, there's 3 more spots. One is going to a receiver, so it's probably going to go to Reggie or at Reggie Wayne. But after that, there's 2 spots available, and I don't want it going to Devin Hester over Zach Thomas. Hell no.
That's not what I'm talking. I don't care.
No,
if Devin
people
Hester
are talking about him being a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Okay, that's fine. But if he makes it 5 years from now, my point is he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Devin Hester is the greatest returner in the history of the game. Okay. I mean, you got to put certain guys like that are super special, man. And the league is littered with guys like that, like Brian Mitchell. You don't want his ass as a running back, but you definitely wanted him as a returner because he was one of the best ever. You know what I'm saying? What Jakeem is doing is nothing new. We had a guy named Fulton Walker here for the Dolphins in the early 80s. You didn't want him doing anything else but returning, but he was great at returning. And so these are things that sometimes we have to give some of those I'm not saying Jakeem, but a guy like Devin Hester, who had a career of changing the face of a game, I would put his ass in the Hall of Fame, man. Not first ballot. I don't want to get you mad.
Yeah,
but
I'm all right with he's in.
4th, 5th, 6th go around, whatever. You know what I mean? I would put him in, man. He's as special as they get, man. He is as special as they get. All right. What are you expecting this week before I let you go?
Scrubs for Cincinnati. Okay. Scrub hour. And guys battling for roster spots.
All right. What are you working on the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out, my friend?
53-man roster projections coming out today. Working on some other pieces and getting our special section stuff locked and loaded I wrote a piece on the RPO offense and why this is perfect for Tua and why everything that they've done is building towards the RPO. So we'll see.
There you go. Follow him on Twitter.
I was shocked that they showed it.
Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly. Make sure you smash the like button there while you're watching the show or while you're listening to the podcast. We will catch you on Friday, my friend. You have a fantastic week, sir.
All right. You too, big up.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report with Omar Kelly. For additions, home remodeling, or custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843. When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group, Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Welcome back. It is hour number 2. We're already into hour number 2 on the program. We thank Omar Kelly and our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. Obviously, Dolphins, we're going to get into more Dolphins talk. It's going to dominate the show today. We'll get into a couple of other things towards the end of the program in hour number 3. But I do want to continue talking a little Dolphins because I just think there's a lot of good things to talk about right now with the team. And I some guy was like, hey, relax. We'll get you a cheerleader's uniform. I love doing this, and I've been doing this for 31 years. And when the team sucked, and I'm telling you, this guy's a clown and this guy should get fired and all of that, then I'm the hater, right? And so now that I like what they're doing, I buy into, well, hell, I predicted that they should hire Chris Grier. A couple of years ago, I wrote an article in the Athletic and on radio, and I said, hey, they got to fire Gase and Tannenbaum and put Grier in place. And that's exactly what they did. So I would be a hypocrite to be not telling you that I'm not a fan of this move with Chris Grier, because I expected him to go in the direction that he's going in now in building this team the right way. And so I'm a big fan of what's going on right now with the Dolphins because they're actually building it the right way. That's why I'm so positive about them. And what is there not to be positive about? That's the part I don't understand with people. Like, the one guy's telling me, hey, slow down. It's like, why am I going to slow down? They finished their first year 5-4 and knocked out the Patriots. They went 10-6 last year. I think they had a hell of an offseason, and they've added several players. So why shouldn't I be positive about what's going on? Why shouldn't I expect them to improve again? Why shouldn't I expect them to have a really good quarterback now with Tua growing up here with this team? I feel good. I love Flores. I think he's a hell of a coach. I think most players, not every player because there's no such thing as that, but I think most players, just like, let's say, the Miami Heat, most players that walk into that Dolphin facility, they're going to play their best football under that guy. Not every player, because that doesn't exist, but what I'm watching so far in the first couple of seasons, I mean, Nick Needham's playing here better than anywhere he was. Eric Rowe's playing better here than where he was in New England. He's got a role here that he didn't have there. And there's several guys like that all over this damn roster. So why wouldn't I feel positive about it? That's the part that's funny to me. And I'm watching the game on Saturday night. And one of the themes that I like about Flo, when you look at Flo, you look at a guy that is hardened, right? A tough guy. Don't you see that in Flo? A guy that has had to earn his way to where he's at right now. A guy that works tirelessly to set his team up week in and week out, right? And there's a toughness to it. And I think there's a toughness to this team. And they proved it in their first year when they went 0-7 and never lost focus. They never gave in. If it was Cam Cameron or any of these other clowns that they've had in the past and they start 0-7, they would have lost the rest of the team for the rest of that season. Not Flo. His team went 5-4 and won the biggest game of the year at the end of the year. That's mental toughness. Last year you go 10-6 and you're trying to develop a quarterback and yet you're trying to win. So you're using the journeyman. And so you're alternating with both guys and you're trying to develop an offense and you're trying to develop a defense. And yet you go out and win 10 games, something that none of us thought that they would be able to do. Saturday night, you want toughness? Jalen Waddle gets kicked in the knee. He's writhing in pain, rolling around on the field. We're all, just crapping bricks going, oh, no, man, this kid blew out his knee. Oh, dude. And I was actually going, yo, Jalen, get on the floor. Stop hopping all the way down the field. You might actually damage it more. Relax, get down. Which I'm sure the trainers told him, hey, if you ever get injured again, just stay right there and get down on the field. We will come to you. But obviously the emotions and all that, he's pissed. He's like, hell no, this is not happening to me. That's what he's doing. So I get why he ended up midway down the field. You know what I mean? I totally understand that. But obviously we were all, crapping in our pants. Kid gets checked out and he comes back to play. That's toughness. That's wanting it. That's not a guy that, hey, I'm the 6th overall pick. I don't need to come back. No, this kid wants to be out there with his teammates. He wants to make plays. And he wants to make plays however it is. An end around, a short pass, a deep pass. It doesn't matter. You wanted me to return for you. I'm ready to return. Love what I saw from the kid. Tua, not that I want to see this often, but he's running and he dives for extra yardage and takes that shot in the back, which it's like, Tua, you need to slide. But it shows you that here's a kid that's been through all kinds of injuries, and he's not playing the game afraid. And when he's in the pocket, he's avoiding pressure with a peripheral vision. He's not looking at the guy trying to run away and then trying to find somebody. No. He's fearless in the pocket, moving around and trying to find somebody and not flustered one bit by the pass rush. You want toughness? That kid is loaded with effing toughness. Then we got Myles Gaskin trying to catch a ball on the sideline, breaking the tackle on the sideline, maintaining his balance, and then getting extra yardage to get the first down. You want toughness? That's Myles Gaskins. And then we see Mac Hollins, a pass that's a little bit too much ahead by Tua. It wasn't on target exactly, but it was a little ahead where he was able to put a hand on it and tip it up, and he knew he was about to get decked. And yet he maintained his concentration to cradle that ball in and then, boom, take the shot that was coming. Hung on to the ball, made the play, got the first down, moved the chains. There's a toughness about this team that has developed, and it comes from their coach. And it comes from their coach from day effing one, when all the other weakness out there was, they're trying to tank. And that dude there's no tanking in that guy. Last year, he was going back and forth with the quarterbacks because he was trying to find the guy that can help him win. And Fitz did not help him win in the first couple games, so he went to Tua. And then Tua couldn't help him win, so he went back to Fitz. It's the same thing he did with Rosen the year before, where Fitz did not start well, went with Rosen, then went back to Fitz. He doesn't give a shit. He wants to win. Can you help me win? Yes, you will play. You can't help me win right now? You need to take a seat. It's pretty simple. There's no tanking. It's about winning, period. That's all. A lot of you, and the irony is beautiful, right? You wanted to tank for Tua, and you didn't have to tank shit. You went out there and you developed a culture that year of toughness, of fighting through it, of winning games in the second half of the season when everybody's trying to get a playoff spot, of forcing the Patriots to have to play in the wild card round when they had the bye week locked up. All they had to do was beat the Dolphins at home, and they couldn't do it. Why? Because there's no effing tanking. There's no crying in baseball. There's no tanking with the Miami Dolphins and Flo. You want toughness? 2 penalties all day long. You know the mental toughness it takes to play the game that is physically brutal for 4 quarters. And you have an array of people that are playing first stringers and second stringers and third stringers, and you must coach them all up. And he coaches them all up to mentally be focused on committing only 2 stinking penalties in the entire game. The toughness is shown mentally. The toughness is shown physically. It's consistent as hell with this team. It's impressive, man. It's impressive. It's something that you haven't seen here in forever. This is the kind of stuff you saw with Shula. You didn't even see this with Jimmy. Jimmy's teams had a whole bunch of fouls and penalties. They didn't play smart all the time. They committed a lot of mistakes. And so did all the other coaches that followed. This is the one dude that his teams are more disciplined than I've seen in over 20 years. Again, he's not Shula, but I'll keep saying it. There are Shula characteristics in this man, and he is the only coach since Don Shula that I could legitimately say there are Shula characteristics in this dude. Because that's Shula. It didn't matter who he was coaching. It was the preseason, or if it was scabs, or if it was his starters, you weren't going to screw the game up. More often than not, you would let the other team screw it up. And that's the beauty of football. In 2008, when they won the 11 games, it wasn't that they were explosive. It was that they were smart. Pennington didn't turn over the football. They didn't make a ton of mistakes like that. And so that kept them in games. And it's amazing, if you don't turn over the football and you do what he's doing now, that you don't commit penalties, you're going to allow yourself to be in a lot of games. And that's what the Dolphins are going to do. They're going to play smart football, they're going to play tough football, and they're going to give themselves a chance to win most games. Sounds familiar for us older people? Kind of reminds you of the old man, right? Rest in peace, Shoes. Reminds you of the old man. Because that's exactly what it was all about. Smart football, give yourself a chance to win, and you'll be in the game in the fourth quarter. And that's what this Dolphin team is learning how to win and learning what to do on a game in and game out basis. And there were several examples on Saturday night that just showed you that his team is disciplined and understands the importance of playing smart and tough football. Love what I saw. I haven't gone through the chat board here, and it is absolutely loaded, by the way. Rich V in the house. Let me see if we got any questions from you all out there. Let's see. Ian from Brooklyn. For the first time since I can remember, teams are going to look at their schedule and say, who are we playing this week? Oh, the Dolphins. Welp, that's a loss. Who we got next? LOL. Well, they're going to know you're not going to want to play the Dolphins anymore. That's the difference. Whereas you were looking forward to that game, you're not going to be looking forward to that game anymore. Primetime 372 says, what would it take to go back to our previous logo? I seem to get that question every day here on the show, don't we? Somebody chimes in. The logo will be changed eventually. Don't worry about it. I think it's like a 10-year cycle that they've got to wait by the time they file for it, and then they are allowed to change it. It's like a 10-year cycle, and that's about coming up. So I would not be surprised in the next year, 2 or 3, there's some kind of an announcement and a change coming to the logo. And maybe what they'll do, it'll be kind of like the old logo, but they'll put a little twist to it, I'm sure, to modernize it or something along those lines. Tom Garfinkel is so good at everything that he's done with that team. Something tells me that that's coming when it's all said and done. Go listen to the Tom Garfinkel interview we have. It's over a year ago. I'm pretty sure, but it's there on the podcast. For those of you that have subscribed, Big O Radio Show, subscribe to the podcast on all platforms, and go look at that go listen to that Tom Garfinkel interview. In that interview, I press him about that, and his answer kind of tells you that it's coming. He doesn't say it directly, but indirectly, you can almost read into it if you want. So go check out that interview with Tom Garfinkel. Big O, my Cardano is looking great. LOL, just wish I invested more. Cardano's looking good. I think I left it like at 290 or something like that right now. Cardano is up. Let's see. It's up 1377 right now. It is 293. And I was telling you about Cardano when it was in the 90-cent area, 95, 98, $1, $1, $2, $1, $3. And then recently in the last consolidation about a month and a half ago, it went down to those numbers again. So I've been telling you about Cardano for, what is it? It's August, 8 months, easily. I've been telling you about Cardano. I hope you guys are on the Cardano bandwagon because right about now, you have tripled your investment if you listen to me and Cardano. So, George, enjoy it, my brother. Cardano is, and it's only getting started. I think it'll be around $7 to $10 by the end of the year. Here in these last few months, it's going to explode. Next month, when Gogan kicks in on September 12th, Cardano is going to explode. Once those smart contracts kick in, smart contracts are everything in DeFi. So, yeah, this is going to be amazing. Let's see. What else do we have here? Redhead Kane says maybe Tua is scared to slide because of the hip injury. May not want a chance at straining it. You never know. You know, Redhead Kane, that's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. Maybe he doesn't want to slide to take a hit there too. Whereas this way he doesn't take the hit on the hip, but damn, he took it on the back. Alexander Perez San says, I used to want Mike Tomlin and Jim Harbaugh. Flo reminds me of those two dudes. Yeah, Flo's the real deal, man. He is definitely the real deal. Radically says the best weapon is the one that is healthy enough to play. I agree. Jimmy Satterfield says Eichenberg looked good at right offensive tackle. I agree. Eichenberg looked really, really good. I thought he did a really nice job. I'd keep him in there. Mario Rossetti says, you are crazy, Omar. So he was not happy about something Omar said there. Let's see. DDG says, you need to keep one tall wide receiver or else you got Oompa Loompas out there. Yeah, but you're keeping Devontae and Preston, bro. Those are tall receivers. And Matt Collins is not a short receiver either. He's a pretty tall receiver. So you've got 3 tall receivers, plus you've got Gesicki and Adam Shaheen. So you've got a lot of big weapons, large weapons that have radius. Now, remember, the good thing about Tua, you got an accurate guy. So it's not like a guy that's inaccurate and he can throw it in the vicinity. Nah, Tua doesn't throw it in the vicinity. Tua will put it right between your eyes, right between the numbers, right between your hands. Doesn't matter. Whatever, wherever you want him to put it, he's going to put it right there. So you don't have to worry about that. Pingaling says, can we keep Bowden as a running back? Well, I don't think you label him. You label him like an athlete. He'll probably be labeled as a receiver, but he can play running back and he can do different things for you. That's probably what it is. Pingaling. Pingaling. I love it. NorCal says, I agree with Omar. Albert is making it. How does Albert make it when he's not healthy? When he only had a week and a half of practice after being out for a year and then having a hip surgery before that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that makes any sense. I got to be honest. Now, he could make it for the first week while they keep Will Fuller out and then try to trade him, showcase him that first week, and then move his ass. That could be it. Bones also says, sorry, Big O, but Albert Wilson is making this team. All right. We shall see. Ian from Brooklyn says, Jakeem is a scrub, Big O. About 29 teams in the NFL would love that scrub to be returning kicks for them. David Carson says, I don't think Grant is bad, but he definitely can be used as a backup. Just use him as a punt returner, punt or kick returner. Either way, he's deadly. M. Black says, Matt Collins is not a playmaker. If you do the math, offensive plays versus special teams plays per game is a huge discrepancy. Wilson is way more valuable than Hollins, but Wilson doesn't help you out on special teams. If Wilson is not a starter, which he isn't, because you start Fuller and Jalen Waddle and Parker. Those are your 3 starters. And then you have Preston Williams. Those are your top 4 guys. Wilson doesn't crack those top 4 guys unless they're injured. So once you start getting to 5 and 6, those guys have to be multiple. They have to help you. So it has to be Jakeem and Matt Collins because those guys help you out on special teams and as a wide receiver. Albert Wilson doesn't play special teams. He's not a returner and he's not a flyer. So what does he do? That's the problem. So if he's not a full-time player as a receiver, then he's got to be able to help you in other areas to keep him active. And that's why I don't think he ends up making it when it's all said and done. Ethereum Elemental says O-line played decent. Have to give them some credit. They did. They played well. Played well. Dana Buse says, stop saying he's going to be all right. That's not really saying much. I don't know what you're talking about there, Dana. Let's see. Crypto Dolphin Super Bowl says, I can send you more Ethereum for more drool. Send me some Ethereum. Derek Bonebreak says, do other teams switch the O-line around in preseason and camp? Thanks for everything, gentlemen. Yes, they do, actually. They do switch around players in the preseason. They're always experimenting and trying to find the flexibility of a player, or they're trying to try something new because they're hurting in a specific area. Okay? Craig Sebring says, I think Parker will be fine for week 1. Albert is gone, and Grant will kick ass as a special teamer rookie of the year for Waddle. Well, you can't use Waddle as a full-time special teamer and full-time receiver coming off of foot surgery. That would not be smart. Chris Carter says Tua throws a very catchable ball. Thank you, D. Thompson. Appreciate that. Didn't really need Chris Carter to tell me that, but that's all right. Evertong Cherry says, if we cut Grant, Buffalo or the Patriots are going to get him, and he's going to kill us twice a year. Well, they won't cut him. You don't cut Grant. That would be incredibly stupid to cut Grant. Big O, I watched the clip of Brian Baldinger's assessment of Tua's play. Amazing insight. Think we got ourselves a quarterback. Sage McKinley, I know they got themselves a quarterback last year. And I love my man Brian Baldinger, and his breakdowns are excellent. But I was already on the Tua bandwagon from the get-go. I'm not worried about Tua. Not worried at all about Tua. Who would you trade for Albert right now, especially if he's hurt? Just a draft pick, some kind of a late-round pick. That's all. That's all you can do. I doubt you're going to get a player, and then you're not even going to get a really good player when it's all said and done. I don't think anybody's going to trade you that because, again, I'll keep saying it. Albert Wilson is unreliable. Say it with me. Albert Wilson is unreliable. Had the hip injury 2 years ago. Didn't want to play last year because of COVID. And now he only practiced for a week and a half, and he's injured again for another week and a half. I'm not sure how you guys can actually count on him. To me, that doesn't make any sense. That's the part I have a hard time comprehending is how do you hand a roster spot to a guy that's played a week and a half in the last couple of years? And what about if our pandemic continues to get worse? Does Albert Wilson decide to leave again? Anybody thought about that? I mean, that's slim to none. I get it, but he already did it once. I'm just saying. We have no idea what's in store. But what I do know is that guy has been unreliable the last couple of years. So why would I all of a sudden, just because he practiced well for a week and a half, I'm supposed to now give him the starting position? No, man. I'm going with Waddle and Fuller and Parker. Those are my three. And I'm trying to get Preston in there to battle with Parker because Parker's injury history. But I know those two guys have contributed more than Albert Wilson. And they're dealing with a bunch of injuries. To me, it's hard for me to comprehend that one, ladies and gentlemen, to be honest with you. Please don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. It is incredibly important that you smash the hell out of the like button. I don't think Wilson is injured. No, he's injured, dude. He's not good enough that, we know enough for you. We're holding you. Nah, dude. Nah, you're way wrong on that one, Alex. With Parker, I can see that because they have a long track record with him already. And they're like, you know what? We don't need to see him out there. We know what he can do. Let's just get him healthy for the regular season. Wilson does not have that same luxury. So I disagree. Dougie Fresh says, if Manny Pacquiao is sponsored by Centrum Silver for his next fight, will he finally retire? Yeah, I saw that, and it's like, dude, just go away already with Manny Pacquiao. Who the hell wants to see Manny Pacquiao fight? So you have no life if you want to see Manny Pacquiao fight. Just go away, dude. You're a nice guy. You do great stuff for your country. Go be a senator, a president, whatever it is, a prime minister, whatever the position is in your country, bro, just take off and go. Who the hell wants to see Manny? That's the problem with boxing. Evander Holyfield at 53 is going to fight again, and Buster Douglas is going to fight again, and you've got YouTubers fighting, and boxing has become a complete joke. And I love boxing, man. Wow. So sad what boxing has turned into. Haven't seen a QB in a Dolphins uniform dance in the pocket like that in my lifetime. I never saw Marino. Well, JP, he doesn't have the athleticism of Tua, but Marino had the magic of sliding and buying time. And just, he only needed a foot or two to move, and then bam. And Tua is doing the same thing. He is sliding, manipulating that pocket. It is a thing of beauty to watch, man. I love watching it. And we haven't had a guy like that since Marino. Like, Fitz could use the pocket, but he's a veteran. He's been in the league 17 years, not a young guy. But all the young guys that we've seen here in the past, from Beck to White to Fiedler to Lucas to whatever, any of the young guys you've had, none of them have had the pocket presence that you saw from Tua the last 2 weeks. Not even close. It's impressive. It really is. Big O, Jakeem drunk. Compare Wilson to DVP. DVP is way more injured. DVP needs to be traded and send Jakeem to another team. Stash Bowden on the IR. Tremoli, I'm just glad you're not the GM. I'm glad I don't take your crypto advice, and I'm glad that you're not the GM. But I still love you. And you and I still have to have a drink or two one day at some bar somewhere and talk a whole bunch of music stories, because that I know you're loaded with. Let's see. Drago, Albert has the best timing with all the wide receivers, including Waddle. How would you know that? He hasn't played in a game. Not sure where that comes from. Where'd you see Wilson and Tua in a game? Well, you saw a practice in shorts for a week and a half? Come on, man. That you're going off practice in shorts. Come on. Come on. Ada is king. Started buying at 3 cents. Really? Wow. Good for you, dude. Nice job. That is awesome. Well, if you bought it at 3 cents and it's near $3, if you bought enough of it, you should be retired. I'm just saying. If you bought it at that, if you bought a ton, because I know if I bought it at 3 cents, I would have bought 100,000 shares of it. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. You better have bought a lot, because you should be retiring if you bought it at 3 cents, man. And if you only bought like 50 at 3 cents, damn. Joel Love says, plus Wilson is getting longer in the tooth. Holland's younger and will only get better. Grant's a special teamer, my man. Fuller and Waddle has speed. So, yeah, Wilson is gone. That's what Joel Love says. Zachary Alayeni says, Grant not making the team. Michael Campbell Jr. says, Big O, the scary thing is this kid does so much of the little things. It's scary to think that this kid is still developing and leaving every single practice, every single rep. Yep. Yeah. Tua's going to be sweet, man. He's going to turn into one hell of a quarterback. And King Short says, we talking about practice. Practice. Any chance Thrill Williams makes the team? I think Thrill Williams has a chance to make the practice squad. That's what I think he's going to make. Martin Leiden says, it's a pleasure staying up to the middle of the night and watching this young team play. Tua is clever He listens and learns and wants to improve all the time. Just look back to QB1. I agree, Martin. I agree. Now, you've been around a while, Martin, so you've seen the good and you've seen the bad. So you can appreciate it. You know what I mean? It's what I told, and I don't mean to pick on the young. I'm not even picking on the younger fans, okay? But I talked a little bit about this last week. Us older fans it's a little more frustrating for us older fans. Believe it or not. Younger fans, like, you don't know any better. All you've seen is a crappy team for 25 years. So you don't know any better, right? You know, if you're 35 or 40 and younger, you don't really know any better. You've only seen crappy Dolphins. That's just kind of been your thing, unfortunately. But those of us that are older, and we watched the greasy and 70s teams, and then we watched Marino and those teams from the 80s into the very early 90s that were still respectable, we saw something that was special. And that's why for us to then go through what we've gone through for 25 years, and it's just like, it's hard to imagine that as Dolphin fans, we have tolerated the crappiness for 20 plus years. You know what I mean? Like, it's really hard to comprehend that, because it's like, how can you be such a great franchise for the first 30 and then all of a sudden just completely forget how to get it done? And that's obviously because you lose Shula, Robbie, and Marino. And I've said it for many years. They never recovered from Shula, Robbie, and Marino. And you look at it now, well, Flo is about the closest thing we've ever seen to Shula right now. Tua is the closest thing that we've seen to having a real quarterback like Marino now. I mean, Pennington was a real quarterback, but he was put together with Scotch tape. You know what I mean? Pennington made Humpty Dumpty look like he was put together. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's how bad it was. But they haven't had a quarterback like that since Marino. That you got him from the draft and then developed him and it took off. That's what you're going to get here. And then I think Stephen Ross has finally developed into Robbie now. Except he's not cheap. As much as we love Robbie, but we know he was a little stingy at times and all that, but still he made the right decisions overall. But my point is, Stephen Ross now, he got out of the way. He hired Chris Greer and said, "Yeah, no, you go get your coach. I don't want to sit here and say, oh, I really like Joe Philbin. I really like Adam Gase. Yeah, that's the problem, Steven. You're not the football guy. Oh, no, I want Ndamukong Suh. Yeah, Steven, you're not the GM. See, those things are gone. Stephen Ross is not involved in any of these decisions anymore. It's football people making football decisions, not a billionaire real estate mogul making football decisions. And that's what's changed. And to Stephen Ross's credit, you got to love the fact that he'll spend and he'll do anything he can for the Dolphins to win, which is beautiful. But what you want him to do is to hire the right people and get the F out of the way, dude. And it looks like he figured that out. And now he got out of the way and they've taken off. And they're headed in the right direction. For the first time, I feel like they finally recovered from Robbie, Shula, and Marino. And now they're on their way to becoming a respectable franchise once again, because they've got the right elements in place. They've got the right GM. They've got the right head coach. They finally found their quarterback. Now they can develop a team. And as I've said before, Chris Greer is doing something that's never been done in the history of the Miami Dolphins. He could end up becoming the first GM ever to find a coach and a quarterback. Nobody's ever done that. Shula was the coach and the GM, so it doesn't count. You know what I'm saying? But after Shula, you never had another GM that could find a coach and a quarterback. I saw somebody when I was chatting with Omar, taking a shot at Chris Greer because of Noah. And it's like, you're so short-sighted. It's so ridiculous. The guy's done way more good. You're not going to be perfect. It's kind of like the offensive line. What did I tell you on Saturday when we did our show? I said, you got to remember this. Or I told you Friday, I think it was. And for those of you that are new to the show, the 5 draft picks you're trying to work in, Dieter, Austin Jackson, Robert Hunt, Eichenberg, and Solomon Kinley, right? The 5. Be honest with yourself now. Do you think all 5 are going to be successful? Seriously. You know, at least 2 of those guys are going to fail. You don't hit on every draft pick. You don't hit on every free agent. You don't hit on every trade. Now, these guys have hit more than they miss. It looks like they're headed in a direction where most of their decisions usually are pretty damn good decisions. Not all of them. But overall, yeah, they're damn good. So I love the guy that complains about Noah, but in the same secondary, the guy found X. Looks like Javon Holland's a player. Looks like he found Nick Needham off the scrap heap. Right? So it's like, what are you complaining about? You're not going to hit on everything. And I'm not saying Noah's a bust. Not even close. I'm not even anywhere near giving up on Noah. He needs time to develop. He's new to that position. He's only been playing corner for a couple of years. The guy went to Auburn as a receiver. I'm not giving up on people right away, but what I am trusting is that more often than not, those guys are going to make the right decisions. But there's a lot to overcome here, and they're doing it. It's impressive as hell. Phillips could not get off a block on Saturday. Hopefully it's just a lack of technique, and they will fix that. We shall see. He's a youngin'. He's got to grow. It is what it is. It wasn't like, Jason Taylor was dominating his first year either, or his second, actually. He had his share of injuries and knocks and struggled against the run because he was light on the shorts. He had to grow into the position and become the guy. Now, Zach Thomas was a freak right from the second he got on the field. It happens. Pat Surtain was lost his first year. He had no he had no way of getting on the field, unfortunately. Second year, he started to figure it out, and he took off. Happens all the time, ladies and gentlemen. We can't give up on people right away. We've got to give them an opportunity. Like one guy was honest and said, well, I gave up in Gesicki. Boy, was I wrong. A lot of people gave up on him after his first year, which was ridiculous. You got to be patient in all of this. And look at the overall track record. It's pretty damn good. Let's see. Last time I looked forward to a season like this was probably 94. Yeah, I agree, Joel. We've done that. Professor EDR says, Big O, the Finns have my toes tingling. They should, man. You should be super pumped up about this season. This is going to be fun. They're going to make it to the playoffs. You're going to have one of the more crafty quarterbacks back there. Karen S. says, Big O, they need to trade for the front door. Richard Sherman couldn't break through for additional O-line help. LOL. Well, we got to give it time. Hopefully the line will get better. They did play better today. We can predict 2 players on the practice squad, correct? Yeah, you can predict a couple of those guys that are pretty obvious picks for the practice squad. Matthew Owen says, oh, what do you say about Waddle keep getting hurt? He didn't get hurt. Matthew, he got kicked in the knee, bro. How's that getting hurt? That's a flukish thing that you have no idea. Some guy gets taken to the ground, and as he's spinning, his leg goes right into your knee, and you get kicked. How does that keep getting injured? Explain that one to me. He had the foot surgery. He's not injured. He went back. Did you notice that he went back to play? So then he wasn't injured. It was just a ding, a bruise, a bump. Big deal. You never got a little banged up in football or basketball while you were playing and then you got back out on the field and played? That never happened to you? Because last time I checked, injured is out. Albert Wilson is out with an injury. It's do you guys, some of you guys, do you like create your own narrative? The kid came back to play. And I wouldn't blame it on him. It's not like Yatil Green would get injured the second he got out of the car headed to the locker room. And then he'd re-injure himself stretching. That's getting injured. Jalen Waddle, that's not his fault, man. That's a complete freakish ding because it's not even an injury. Sam Thompson says, I can't wait for the Dolphins season, Big O. I get a chance to come over the pond this season for a game. I want to buy you a drink and talk football. All the best. Well, Sam, we will be all season long at 2 sports grills in Miami. The one on Miami Lakes, which is actually pretty close to the stadium, will be half a season there. And then the other half a season will be at Bird and 114th, right off of the Turnpike and Bird Road. So we'll be at both of those. So I welcome all of you. If you're not going to the stadium, I welcome you to join us for some incredible wings. The special grilled wings are, some of the best wings in the world. You will enjoy them at Sports Grill with us. So come on out, Sam. And I would love to talk football with all of you out there. So please join us at Sports Grill this year. We will be 2 hours before pregame and 2 hours postgame show. We'll have the press conferences for you. We'll have insiders in the locker room for you, pre and post, all of that, completely unbiased, objective coverage that you'll get that you can't get anywhere else. By the way, you'll get it on our show starting week 1. I'm not doing preseason, but week 1. Okay. Let's see. Danny says, wait till we line up with Gesicki, Fuller, Waddle, and Wilson, not to mention Parker and Williams and Bowden. Gaskin is deadly catching the ball. Lots of potential and upside this season. There we go. I am with you. The offense is going to be awesome. I agree with you. Wayne, by the way, Fins Nation UK says, big pregame charity party. If anyone's going to the Dolphins London game, check out Finvasion on Facebook. Great to see some of you out there. So if you're going to the UK, go to Finvasion on Facebook, and you can get together with the folks out there across the pond. I would love to be at that one. That would be pretty cool to go do that. Lewis Bryant says, X wasn't great when he got here either. It took him a couple of years. That's right, sir. Lewis, you, sir, are an educated fan. That's right. X wasn't X right away. Took him a couple of years. Paul Soliai was useless for 3 years. His 4th year is when the light went on for Paul Soliai. He started to show a little some in the 3rd year, but it was the 4th year where he took off. 3 years Paul Soliai didn't figure it out. 3 years. I remember by year 2, I had an established veteran player tell me, that dude can't play. Got to give him time. Got to be patient. Can't give up on people that quickly, especially young people. And Noah is not a miss just yet, only his 2nd year. Need to be patient and give him time. I'm with you, R-Rod. Is Dokes making the team? Alfredo right now, no. He's making the practice squad. He's another practice squad guy. There's no way he makes the team right now. He hasn't done enough. The sad part for Dokes is, my brother, he had to come out of the gate smoking. Like he had to come out like his hair was on fire and he was catching everything inside and putting people on their asses in blocking situations, all of those kind of things so they can bump up his playing time. And because he never really did that, and he ended up dropping passes and making mistakes, typical of a young player picked in the back end of the draft. That obviously he's got a lot of warts and he's got to fix them. But unless, Doggy, he came in just kicking absolute ass, it was going to be slim to none for him to make this team. He looks like a practice squad player right now. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. You can end up going from practice squad to becoming a roster player and a contributor to maybe even a starter, but you got to work your way up, unfortunately, for Dokes. And maybe that's what he needs. A year in the NFL, body matures, mind matures, all of those things. And then next year he comes back with a full training camp and off season. And that now mentally and physically, he's more prepared to try to challenge for a spot. You know what I'm saying? But Dokes right now, I mean, what are you going to do? It is what it is. Is Patrick Laird making the team? We had Omar Kelly on, and he's got Patrick Laird making the team. I'm not so sure, ladies and gentlemen. I'm one of those, when I start looking at their backs and looking at their depth chart, and I'm gonna pull up the depth chart now for you guys, because I want to make sure I have everything right here when it comes to the Dolphin depth chart before I tell you everything. I think the depth at wide receiver, the fact that you may want to keep an extra corner, those kind of things, I think you can get away with Myles Gaskins, Malcolm Brown, Salvon Ahmed as your top three guys, right? And then maybe you hide Jared Dokes on the practice squad. Hell, I don't even know. Maybe you can. I got to know the rules, but I think they're pretty flexible this year. Hell, you might even be able to hide Patrick Laird on the damn practice squad, I think. So I could see them hiding a running back as a fourth guy because they have so many wide receivers, they want to keep an extra receiver. Something like that. Or they want to keep an extra lineman. Or they want to keep an extra DB. I mean, you look at the DBs, right? You've got Rowe, you've got McCourty, Byron Jones, X, right? Then Brandon Jones and Javon Holland and Noah and Nick. That's 8. So then you start looking, okay, wait a minute. Who else is worth it now? Fajellum is a standout special teamer, not very good in the secondary, right? So is he worth that spot? Or are you going to keep Foster instead of him, because Foster can play his position as a gunner, but yet he helps you out also as a wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? So these are the kind of the decisions that you've got to make at the back end of the roster before you figure out what you're going to end up keeping. And that's why that fourth running back could be used for something else of depth along the team. So I'm not convinced that Patrick Laird is going to make the team. I like Patrick Laird, but I like him solely as a pass catcher. I don't really like him as a running back. And again, that becomes, is he a standout special teamer? No. So how do you justify that spot? You see what I'm saying? So that may be an issue. And so if you can hide him on the practice squad, great. Maybe Laird can be hidden there. If not, then you put Jared Dokes there. And at least you have a developmental back there that can help you out. But I think they have other guys that can do certain roles that maybe they say, this kid might be expendable. We'll see. All right, says, how many running backs do we keep? Well, that's what I was talking about now. Oh, remember Omar's story about players disrespecting past Finns coaches and how that impacted the team. Now imagine anybody acting the fool on this team with Flo. Don't start none, won't be none. Oh, yeah, no, it's not going to happen with Flo. He's just not going to take that BS, dude. That's who he is. You come to play, you come to be a professional with Flo. That's the bottom line. All right, let me take a quick 2-minute break, rest the voice. Hour number 3 is next.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Michigan. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
This is the Big O Show.
There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal support.
This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All righty, we are back. It's hour number 2 of the program, and Jamie Zorilla, which, by the way, those of you that are on the chat board, please smash the hell out of that like button. If you're listening to the podcast, please smash the like button. It is incredibly important for the algorithm of the show. It gets it out to more people, and that way more people out there that are Dolphin fans, Heat fans, Canes fans, Marlins fans, Inter fans, Panther fans, they find out about the show, and they can listen to it every day. We start off at 10 a.m. They can catch it live here on YouTube, or, of course, it's all podcasted. Sean Stanley, by the way, is our producer of record, and he, of course, is podcasting it every day here on the program. So Sean is a full-time member now of the show as we grow every single day. And hopefully tomorrow, by the way, we will have more news for you also on the show that we'll be very happy to announce, which is a beautiful thing. Jamie, by the way, says, Big O, for those that value arm strength more than accuracy and anticipation, Lance's INT last night was a bullet that was too strong and high to catch in the short field. Yeah, and he threw an interception. He played a little better after, and that was more later in the game where he was up against like the third-string guys and fourth-string guys that aren't even going to be on the team. But it was nice. Again, really young kid. You gotta give the Lance some time, Trey Lance, to actually develop. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even ready to give up on that kid either, Trey Lance. And it's not like I know much. Sorry. It's not like I watched him a ton in college. You know what I'm saying? I know he's got a lot of gifts, but, and we talked about this either last week or the week before. It's just, the problem is we have these size queens and we have these arm queens. And if they're not 6'5" or 6'6", then of course you can't be successful. And if you don't have an arm like Dante Culpepper, then you can't be successful. And it's just a bunch of bull. Tua has exactly what you need to be a Hall of Famer. Not a good quarterback. No. Not a Pro Bowl quarterback. No. Not an all-pro quarterback. No. Tua has what it takes to be a winner and a Hall of Famer. He has intelligence. He knows how to read defenses, which was also some silly-ass thing, that some narrative that came out of last year, struggling to read defenses. And no, he's not. He just wasn't comfortable with the damn system. The kid has accuracy, ball placement, anticipation. When you have those elements, you can be a great quarterback. Now, you obviously can't have the arm of a broken down Chad Pennington. I get that. You got to have a stronger arm than that, but his arm is more than strong enough. He doesn't have to have John Elway's rifle. Okay? Doesn't have to. He doesn't have to throw it 80 yards in the air like Joe Flacco can. But he can throw it deep enough to hit any bomb that he needs on an NFL team. And he's got a strong enough arm to hit a skinny post, and he's got a strong enough arm to throw the 20-yard out. He has all of that. And plus, he also has anticipation. He also has accuracy. He also has ball placement, something that not every quarterback has. In fact, most of the quarterbacks that have taken over after Marino, they didn't have those features. That's why Bob Greasy's in the Hall of Fame and Drew Brees is in the Hall of Fame, because those guys weren't gifted like Peyton Manning. They weren't gifted like John Elway. They weren't gifted like Pat Mahomes. I get it. There are other guys that are better athletes, other guys that had incredible arms, but those kind of guys, they didn't need that because they had intelligence. They had accuracy. They can place the ball away from the DB. And Tua has all of those things. And that's what these guys saw. It's not a matter of trying to control a guy's strong arm. No, it's not about that. It's not about teaching him how to read defenses, teaching him how to have pocket presence, all those kind of things. You don't have to teach this kid that. He has all of that. The only thing Tua needs is the experience at game speed in the NFL. That's it. He just needs to see the different coverages and then also get the timing down of the defense and the speed that they play in. That's all. And once he is up to speed, as they say, he'll start balling. That's the beauty. You're not there to teach him any fundamentals. Of course, everybody can sharpen their fundamentals, but he's already fundamentally sound. His intelligence is already off the charts. So these are things you don't have to teach this young man. Whereas several of the guys for many years lacked one or the other or a couple of those things. And that's why your quarterback was so incomplete. And that's why your quarterback, maybe that's what kept him from getting over that hump. This kid just needed to rehab his damn hip. And now all he needs is the experience. He needs to see these defenses a couple of times, deal with that cornerback that's elite a couple of times so he can figure out how to beat him. Find out the weaknesses of the safeties. Figure out what they react to. Figure out maybe little nuances that he can pick up. But all of that does not happen on the first time you play somebody. You got to go through the game-like situations. You got to have that game under your belt and in your memory. And so then the next time you play them, you remember this and this and this. That's how this whole thing happens. It's that second go around, that third go around. That's when the quarterback starts to get more acclimated and adjusted to everything that goes on. But it just doesn't happen overnight. And that's the problem. And then we think it happens overnight. And we also think that if you don't have the gun, that's it. There's no way you're going to be successful. Meanwhile, there's a slew of quarterbacks over the years that didn't have a gun and they were successful. So yeah, we got those arm queens out there and they're learning their lesson right now when it comes to the Miami Dolphins. Remember, you can reach out to us on the YouTube channel, on the chat board. If you're listening on the podcast, Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com. And of course, on Twitter at Big O Show. You want to support the show? Cash App and Venmo. Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show is the address. I saw the Greg Cody article in the Miami Herald, and I like Greg. Greg is a good dude, and he's done a really good job over the years as a columnist for the Miami Herald. But I found it funny because I found it entertaining because it's not just Greg. It might be other people that feel this way. So the headline in the article says, and I know that the writers don't necessarily write the headline, but I read the article and it's kind of what it is about the headline. And it says, why is it time to go all in and finally start believing in Tua? And I sat there and I go, why wouldn't you believe in the kid then? I mean, okay, so the narrative was tank for Tua. That was the narrative, right? So thousands of people wanted the Dolphins to purposely lose for Tua. Okay, so then that means tons of people were convinced that he could play the game. So then why after the first year are you not convinced that he can't play the game? All he had to do was overcome the physical issues, which was the surgery, rehab, those kind of things. He didn't forget how to play the game. And he had some terrific moments last year. He had a couple of quality wins. Yeah, he had some bad moments. Of course, he's a rookie. He's supposed to struggle some. But if you know he's healthy, why wouldn't you believe in the kid? And then that's when I started to hear, because that's what this article is about in a way. The fans that at the end of the year, and some of you are guilty, come on, say it on the, if you're on the chat board right now, there's no way the 358 people that are on the chat board right now, that every one of you were all on the Tua bandwagon and you weren't questioning it. Because last year I heard it. He's too short. His arm is not strong enough. He was carried by a great team in Alabama. All of these things were like, wait a minute. How did the agenda all of a sudden change? Like he's got all these warts when tons of people wanted you to tank for the guy. Now, if he's walking around and he's kind of limping or whatever and all that, then I get it. He never recovered from the hip surgery, all that stuff. You don't believe that. Okay, if that's going to get in the way of how he plays, fine. But this whole thing about, well, why is it time to go all in and finally start believing in Tua? And it makes it sound like you haven't believed in the guy in years. So we go from believing him leading up to the draft. Leading up to the hip injury that you wanted the tanking, to then now the second season or the second year, the first year was he's in college. The last year, you go from, okay, well, he's the backup and he's not good enough to beat Fitzpatrick. Meanwhile, well, that's not the point. They're trying to win games and they're not going to put a young kid out there to just sacrifice the entire season. Flo doesn't want to lose his team. He wants to try to show the players that he's trying to win no matter what. So by the end of the year, you're no longer believing in the guy that you believed in before, but he was able to come back from the hip injury. So why wouldn't you believe he can get his game back? It's what I told you at the beginning of the show, that we've got all these people now saying, well, he looks better now. He looks more athletic. His arm looks better. Well, of course it does. He's finally healthy. You didn't figure out he wasn't healthy last year? I love how this whole bandwagon bullshit, man. And it's a lot like crypto. You got your people that got into crypto, and then they panicked when there was some correction in the market. And now that the market has bounced back, you got a ton of people that are regretting that they sold their crypto and they lost money when all they had to do was patiently wait and let it bounce back, because it was going to bounce back. There was no crash that it's over and all that stuff. Those are people that don't know anything about crypto. It's bounced back, and the people that bought Bitcoin at 55 and 60 and sold it at 42, now look at it. It's back over 50 again. And if you bought it at 50, 55, and 60, you're going to get it back. It'll happen. It'll pass 60 eventually. It'll go to 70 and 80. You didn't have to panic and sell. What you had to do was buy it as it went back down again, so you can make even more money. And that's what you had to do last year. Not sell on Tua. Buy more Tua. Because it's what I said. Last year was even more phenomenal because the kid wasn't even healthy. It wasn't his offense. It wasn't his offensive coordinator. He had no offseason. He had mediocre weapons. and still won more than he lost and still threw more touchdowns than interceptions. What is there not to believe? That's my point. That's the thing. Too many had the wrong attitude last year on how to measure Tua. What you had to measure Tua last year and say, damn, that dude's a badass. He overcame all that stuff and still played pretty well as a rookie. So he didn't know the offense that well, and yet he won more than he lost. So he didn't know the playbook, didn't have great weapons, and yet he threw more touchdowns than interceptions? Huh? He apparently had an offensive coordinator that wasn't ready to start him because he was in love with his guy Fitzpatrick. And yet he overcame that too. So how do you not believe on it? How do you not believe in a kid like this? A kid that all the adversity was there for him to fail, maybe even possibly get injured. And yet he still played pretty well overall. Did more positives than negatives. Yet somehow or another, some of you made it sound like he played like absolute dog shit. It's the weirdest effing thing that happened last year. It's one of those that I can't explain it. It leaves me befuddled at the way that people were thinking about that kid last year. And then when I read this article from Cody, well, now's the time. Bullshit, dude. The time was when they effing drafted the kid. And you should have been even more excited about him after last year instead of sitting there and buying the FUD and all the BS that all these other people were talking about with this kid. Oh, he can't read defenses. What the hell are you talking about, man? So that's, you see stuff like this, and it's just baffling, man. Absolutely baffling, gotta say. And also the toughness the kid showed to come back last year and play. When yours truly, I didn't even want him playing last year. I said rest his ass and maybe play him when you're out of the playoffs on the back end of the season. Play him a couple of games because it'll be a year, and then that you get him a little bit of experience. Hell no. They had him in there from the get-go. Impressive as hell. That's toughness. You don't want that guy on your team? Seriously? You got to want that guy on your team. All right, don't forget, email bigoradioshow@yahoo.com, whether you're listening to the podcast or anytime you want to reach out to us, you got a question, bring it on in. Ada292, Big O, amazing. I know. It's a lot of fun watching this Cardano run. There we go. A lot of fun watching this Cardano run. I love it. Big O, Wizard of Wall Street. I don't know about that, but I will say this. I didn't mislead you with Ethereum. I'm not misleading you with VeChain. I'm not misleading you with Cardano. I'm not misleading you with Polygon. So, the ones that I've told you to invest in, they've all skyrocketed, baby. If you took my advice, 6-9 months ago when I've been talking about crypto and what cryptocurrencies to get on, all of those that I told you, you are riding, and obviously Bitcoin too. But as I've told you before, I have less Bitcoin than some of those. I have less Bitcoin than Cardano, less Bitcoin than VeChain, and certainly less Bitcoin than Ethereum. Love Bitcoin, but I think there's better business to be had with some of the other ones on a short-term basis. Bitcoin is the long-term one down the line. Everton Cherry says they listen to the media too much and don't really watch the games. They let other people's opinions cloud their judgment. I can't tell you anymore, bro. You are right on target right there. 100%. It's what it is. Danny August says he's also a good person, good parents, and his faith. Lit of moxie and presence. Yeah. You're right. And that's another thing. Tua is a great person. You're right. Great foundation. Samuel Strong Jr. says, it's mind-blowing these people are never satisfied. Isn't it? I'm glad you bring that up, because the funny part is, all right, so we've gone through all this shit, right? We've dealt with Cam Cameron, and we got to turn that thumb right side up, and you'll love the Ted Ginn family and all that, and Sperano, rest in peace. I know he's a really nice man, but as a head coach, celebrating field goals and fist pump and feed the wolf and those stupid sayings, and Wanstad with his what was it, lobster traps, and Adam Gase and his goofiness, all these clowns that we've had in the past, right? And you think about everything that's gone on now, and you look at a team that was torn down to the bone, and they have a terrific second half that first year, and you're 15-10 since that 0-7 start. It looks like your general manager found a head coach and a quarterback. That's why I laugh at people like, the one guy that was like, well, Greer could have done better with Noah. And it's like, well, are you watching what Greer's doing overall in the big picture? So you're just going to focus in on Noah? Really? Is that what you're doing? So you're going to measure him on one pick, that maybe that pick becomes a good player, and you look stupid again, because the same guy that's giving up on Noah gave up on Gesicki also. And yet you watch all this good stuff go on, right? And the team's getting better, and you win the 10 games, and we've got maybe some playoff aspirations this year. How in the F are you complaining about anything? Like, you have hope now. You have like a real coach now. You have a real front office now. You're beating teams now. And you're not even close to being a finished product now. And you're beating quality teams. And you've ended up with a winning season, something none of us, including yours truly, I didn't think they were going to win 10 games last year. Come on, let's be honest. And now we're sitting there thinking this could be a playoff team, which I think it is. What's there to complain about? Stadium looks great, right? Stephen Ross and Garfinkel have done an awesome job with that stadium. It's a pleasure to drive in and out of that stadium, go to it. Any of you out there, it's so much more comfortable now than it used to be. The guy built a brand new practice facility that a lot of you fans were able to enjoy now during this training camp. What's there to effing complain about, man? What's there to be bitter about? It's what I keep telling a lot of you. Stop living in the past. Let all that shit go, man. All that stuff that happened in the past, let it go. Enjoy what's going on right now. That's what you got to do. So I'm with you. To me, it's baffling that anybody would be complaining or bitching about the Dolphins, right? We've had plenty of time to bitch in the past. We had all the reason to bitch in the past. Now we've got all the reason to celebrate, all the reason to look forward to, be positive about what's going on, enjoy the ride. Think about it. If you get to the playoffs this year, I want you to think about it. If you do get to the playoffs this year, when they do, okay, not if, when they get to the playoffs this year, the second they've clinched a playoff spot, I want you to go back and remember the first 7 weeks of the first season under Flo. And then remember where you've come from to where you're at and how you've gotten there in a short amount of time. Maybe then you'll appreciate it. I know that we'll have the negative Nellies that, oh, they made the playoffs, but they're not going to do anything. It's like, okay, dude, that's just, whatever. We're always going to have that person that just wants to talk about what is the negative chapter that's up next, that kind of stuff. But when they do make the playoffs, I want you to look back and go, damn, it just wasn't long ago that we were kind of frustrated with that 0-7 start. And here they are, season 3, and they're in the playoffs. That's going to be something that I think you're going to appreciate even more when it's all said and done, because it's going to be one hell of an accomplishment by this team. All right. Twitter is Big O Show. Don't forget, that's Big O Show if you want to get in on Twitter. Marlins, by the way, lost to the Reds 3-1. They've lost 7 in a row. They're off tonight. Tomorrow they will start a set with the Nationals at Lone Depot Park. Jesus Luzardo, local kid, will be on the mound towing the slab. Hey, congratulations to Inter Miami Football. They defeat Toronto FC 3-1. They have played like I didn't think they could play. I got to admit. I still don't think they're that good of a team, but right now, man, they've won 2 in a row, 3 of 4, 4 of 6. They've got points in 6 of 7 games. And in those 6 games where they've got points, they've got 4 wins and 2 ties and only 1 loss in the last 7 games. I didn't think they've got this in them. Now, they have been able to take advantage of some poor teams like Toronto and Chicago in this past week, but you got to give them credit for taking care of that business and playing well. And Pizarro, man, got 2 goals. So this guy had fallen completely off the map now for, into his second year with the club, and it just wasn't looking good. And all of a sudden now, whether you can showcase or move him down the line, maybe, but I got to give him credit. And Robbie's goal, by the way, was just an absolutely thing of beauty in the 35th minute. That was awesome. So nice job by Inter Miami. Friday night, they will visit Orlando City at 8:30. So we've got that going on. What else do we have here that I wanted to talk about on the program? Speaking of crypto, by the way, did you guys see that the Cal football team cut a deal with FTX? FTX is the sponsor of the arena. FTX, I believe, is it baseball umpires or NBA referees? I forgot which one I saw, but I think it's baseball umpires have the FTX. FTX is all over the place now. So Cal Memorial Stadium now will be FTX Field. Interesting. So they get FTX to sign it, and they're going to pay them in crypto. Now, my suggestion to Cal, and those people are, a little smarter than I am, but, I follow a little crypto. Take it all in Ethereum, Cardano, and Bitcoin. That's all I'm saying. Okay, Cal? Get paid in that. And Messi is launching his own NFTs now. So if you're a Messi fan, you may want to look for some Messi NFTs if you're a fan of him. All right, let me get some questions in. Drink a little water here because I am been going straight here for 3 hours, almost 2.5 hours already. Damn. Big O, like the guy that was saying that Chris Greer is running the team 20 years ago, it was his fault. Haha, yeah, that's the lazy take that somebody else does because nobody ever took his advice. That was the difference. Steve Chapman says 300 likes. Great job, people. That's a record. Yes. Let's go. Let's go. Break that record. I love it. Thank you all out there, man. Appreciate you. The MMA fortune teller says, what's up, O? Teller stopping by. Thank you, sir. You got to drop off some money. You're a teller. No, we don't want you. We don't want you closing at the end of the day and getting in trouble because you're missing some money. By the way, I was a bank teller when I was a youngin'. I was 18 years old, and I worked at Republic National Bank, and I was a bank teller. And about a year into the job, closer to 19, I became the money officer. So I was like the head of the tellers pretty much because I was handling the big cash. And I got to tell you something. I don't know if there's any bank tellers out there. That is one of the worst jobs in the history of mankind. I will never do that job ever again because not that I ever was short of any money or anything like that or gave any money, but every once in a while when you would close, you're off by $100, $1,000 or $10,000. And usually it's just a mistake that you inputted some number wrong or whatever. You'd have to figure this is 30 years ago, of course, because I'm 54. So this is a long time ago. But anyway, I remember that job was stressful because when you would close and you were off, you knew you had made a mistake, right? More often. I mean, I've seen tellers that did give money away and there's, obviously then the bank takes it out of your check or whatever. It's a brutal thing. But I'll tell you this, for what they get paid, that was a terrible job. Man, when I had enough of being a money officer and I just quit, I said, I can't do this job anymore. It's just not worth it. Because one day you're going to actually make a legitimate mistake, right? And you're going to short yourself a couple $100, God forbid, $1,000 or $2,000. And those some bitches are going to take it out of your check. And I was like, no, dude, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it. And then sometimes it'd take you 10 minutes or sometimes it might take you an hour to find the damn thing too. Pain in the ass. So I don't know if I have any tellers that are out there, any bank tellers. What a thankless job that is, dude. Holy crap. That is, ugh. I feel for you. I feel for you. Any of you out there that are real tellers, I feel for you, man. Danny says to the Tua haters, just go back and think how many guys have come in, and now we got them. Fiedler, Henny, Tannehill, Culpepper, Fitz, Rosenfeld, Rosen. Be grateful. Amen to that, my friend. Amen. Amen by that. King Short says, you know it, bro. Trying to beat the Heat in Carolina. There we go. What else? You're the man, Big O. Glad the voice is holding up. Thank you, Ian. Appreciate it, my man. T. Forbes says, Elephant was a position the open end Jay Taylor defense was the amoeba. Okay. What the hell is that one? What do we call that one when they're all bunched up there and then they attack? And you don't know. I love that defense. When they run that defense, that everybody's like hanging out. It's like a speakeasy. People are just hanging out. All you need is drinks and maybe a couple cigars. And they're all standing around just talking with each other. Ball snapped. Everybody takes off and goes to their assignments. Or they rush the quarterback, whatever it is. I love that. I love that formation. And I like it because more often than not, it also works. Okay? Because you could teach the defense and they may fail. You know what I'm saying? But with Flo, you're pretty good in coaching more often than not. You're going to be successful. Chris Adams says, I love Chris Greer. I've been championing him for a long time. I feel like anything good we've done in the scouting department was because of him over the last X amount of years. Probably. But like I said, you know what Chris Greer's biggest problem was? He's black. And so, you never get a fair shake when you're black. So you got to wait till they hire 47 GMs, fail 47 times, and then they say, let's try the black guy. And then they finally give the black guy an opportunity. So there you go. That's this world, brother. What are we going to do? We got to be honest. I mean, it's not like Chris Greer didn't deserve the job for several years. I love me some Tua. Going to shut up all the haters. That's what Craig says. Say Aloha says Tua will definitely get us to the playoffs and beyond. Tommy Adriola says, real question. Would you take Watson over Tua if the legal stuff wasn't an issue? Well, yeah, of course. Would you take Watson straight up over Tua? No legal issues, nothing like, and they don't exist. And straight up, of course, one's proven and the other one still has to prove himself. Even though I have all the faith in the world that Tua will be a good quarterback, I already know Watson's a great quarterback. So I know Tua will turn into one, but Watson obviously is already one. So I get what you're saying, but we don't play fantasy here. We play reality. And the other thing I'm not doing, I'm staying with Tua. Now you asked me Watson or Tua, am I taking them? I'm not trading for Watson. Listen to me. That's not what you asked me. Okay? You asked me if I can have Tua or Watson on my roster straight up. I love Watson. I think he's a hell of a player. But I'm not trading for him. I've been steadfast on that. I'm staying with Tua. I'm not giving up 40,000 picks for the guy. And the reality is, see, this is the problem with hypotheticals and why they're silly. The reality is, Deshaun Watson's a dumbass. He's a stupid ass mofo. That's the only way to describe Deshaun Watson. Anybody that does what Deshaun Watson did is a dumbass. I don't want any part of that guy. I don't trust him anymore. You got to be incredibly stupid to be a famous person and keep calling strange women to go rub your whatever. Okay? Because eventually you're going to get lawsuits. That's what was going to happen. He's a really stupid individual. Or he really has some serious problems. Because if you got a fine-ass girlfriend like he has, and you still got to go call all these thoughts all over the place to come on over and rub your ding-a-ling, you got a problem, dude. And if you're too stupid to understand you're Deshaun Watson, and every time you bring one of those strangers over, you open yourself up to a lawsuit. And eventually you opened up yourself to 22 of them. The amount of stupidity that Deshaun Watson has shown, I don't want any part of that. I don't care if he assaulted the women or didn't assault the women and it was strictly sex. Either way, I don't want a quarterback representing your team that's that freaking stupid. Because if you're a politician, a musician, an actor, an athlete, a famous person, dude, you don't do that. Like I said last week, Robert Kraft and Deshaun Watson are criminally stupid. Okay? Because they both committed criminal acts. But they're criminally stupid. One guy's a billionaire that can buy a whole penthouse floor, have a couple of bodyguards, call up a professional call girl, have her sign a waiver, put her phone on the side, go in there, have fun with you, and walk out and nobody ever finds out. But no, you go to the Asian day spa. Que clase come mierda. And if you're Deshaun Watson, dude. And you got to be calling strangers to come on over to play with your ding-a-ling? You're a dumbass, bro. Seriously. Like, those two guys, they deserve each other. It's like you have more money than God, both of you. You can do it in a way that nobody finds out. Just, dude, Deshaun, if you want to have sex, bro, just hire a pro. Have a bodyguard. Take the phone. Have them sign a waiver. Everything's covered. Your ass is covered. They sign a confidentiality agreement. They're happy, bro. They're getting paid, and they're banging Deshaun Watson. They're happy. They're getting paid, and they're getting Robert Kraft to release his cheese. Big deal. It's over. For Robert Kraft, it must be Limburger by now, right? Anyway, if you want to get in, you can reach out to us on Twitter at Big O Show. Email Big O Radio Show. And, of course, you can chat in on the YouTube channel. And if you want to support our show, other ways to help us grow, Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Pat in Nashville says, oh, with some dudes, that little head almost always wins versus the big one. Amen to that, dude. I mean, seriously. Those are two stupid-ass idiots. I don't care how successful they are. One in business, the other one in football. Common sense, neither one of them have it. The Asian day spa. A billionaire. Really, dude? Bam. You dumbass. Keith C. Brown says, more facts, Big O. Not sure what the hell Watson was doing, where his dad, his uncle, his agent, his friends getting massages by 200-plus chicks is ridiculous. I mean, listen, Joe Schmo, you got to do it that way, right? Broke-ass dude, blue-collar guy, you got to try to, pick up some tail however you can. Swiping on those apps or Instagram, fine. But when you are those kind of people, come on, man. It's like, I remember James Worthy years ago got busted with a couple of prostitutes or whatever. And it was like, man, dude, like, you're James Worthy. Like, you got to be smarter than that. When you've got the power and the money, use it, man. Use it at your disposal. You got plenty of people that'll take your money for it, and you can get them to sign a confidentiality agreement and everything. And they'll be more than happy if you call the right people. But if you're going to call strangers, you're going to get burned. It's crazy. How does he not have people looking out for him or Kraft too? That's them. That's those two idiots didn't think about it. That's all. That's all it is. They didn't actually really think about it. And I got to tell you something, dude. Have you seen Watson's girlfriend? Wow. That doesn't keep you happy in bed. She must suck in bed. She's got to be depressing. Seriously. I mean, it's like watching Tiger. Like, so you're banging the Stuckey's waitress? Really? That's what you're doing? You're Tiger Woods, bro. So you're banging all these waitresses all over the place, and you got Elin Nordegren at home? Okay, well, if you're going to do it, then do it right, dude. You're Tiger. Get a pro. Have somebody seal off a couple of floors or a floor. Have somebody protect the elevator. You got everything there. You got another bodyguard by the stairs. I've thought about this, okay? Can't wait to be a billionaire. Anyway, joke, relax. So I'm just saying, it's just, there are easy ways, because I've done this show for 31 years. So this situation has happened with different people in the 31 years that I've done this. So it's kind of like every time it happens, it's like, man, you've got power and the money. How did you not use the power and the money? It's the strangest thing in the world. You have every resource so nobody finds out, yet you go in the direction that everybody can find out. Twisted, man. Twisted and stupid. Incredibly. I would never trust Deshaun Watson from here on out. I think he has a problem. I think he needs help, actually. Really, seriously. I think he should get help. That's what it sounds to me like. He's got a problem. Because if it was that many women, yeah. And is his girl still with him? Chris Adams says, I feel like Deshaun Watson got a whole conspiracy going on. His team's security department knew about this, and now that he wants out, they use this to hang them out to dry so he can't leave. And I think you're going too Oliver Stone. I think he's just stupid. I think he was just dumb, like Robert Kraft. It's just stupid. That's all. I can't give him a break on that. The Coolidge effect, Big O. He has a hot chick, but the sex doesn't give him the dopamine like new women would provide. Damn, Keith, that's some deep shit there, bro. Oh, I love it. Throw your fins up. There we go. Fins up, baby. Jersey Dolphin wants them fins up. Tiger on the Waffle House waitress. It's great. Remember looking at the Sears catalog, and that's all it took. Either that or you're going to what's the name of the that magazine that had like people from other countries that were nude. What's the name of National Geographic? There you go. Yeah, unless you're a little twisted and you got to go to the National Geographic to go find it. Or you never know, because like in your I don't know about your neighborhood, but in my neighborhood, they had those dump sites in every block, one or two spots where everybody would throw their trash. And every once in a while, there was some neighbor of yours that threw away their Playboys. Vaughn954 says, safe to a sex scandal is something we will never have to worry about with Tua. Yeah, exactly. That's the beauty of Tua. You're not going to get the 2 a.m. Hey, coach, I got arrested for DUI. Hey, coach, I got arrested. I hit my wife or my girlfriend. Hey, coach, I got arrested for prostitution. Yeah, you're not getting that call from Tua. That's the beauty. So that's why playing the hypothetical is a bunch of BS. We live in reality, and reality is Tua will be a good quarterback, will be a great leader, and will have the kind of common sense that he's not going to do stupid ass things like Robert Kraft and Deshaun Watson. Guaranteed that will not happen with Tua. And that's, for me, ladies and gentlemen, that's a major comfort zone. I got to be honest. If Tua blows up this year, please stay away from the massage places. What's your Venmo? Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Venmo or Cash App. Thank you. Cash Big O Show. Let's see. Tua is the guy. I don't know how some people don't see it. Remember, there's a lot of us in the Dolphin Nation. Most of us, we've been burned so much in the past. And AJ Feely, and then it's Jay Fiedler that played well against Miami in the Jags game, and then they sign him. It's Ray Lucas that played well, and then they're going to convert him, and then it's John Beck, and then it's Pat White, and then it's all these kind of guys that we brought in over the years. And you can tell that there were holes in their game and all that stuff. You look at Tua, and he looks like a made QB. He looks in control. He's intelligent. He's accurate. He's healthy now. Like I said before, earlier on the program, the only thing he needs is experience, and it's so damn obvious. All he has to do is play a few games here where he gets used to the game speed, starts to play opponents over and over again inside his division, and he'll get to be adjusted to all of this stuff. But it just, the fact that it doesn't happen over, and then you had the Herbert stuff that went on, right? You know what's going to be funny? What if Herbert has a setback like Baker Mayfield did? Remember, Baker's kicked ass his first year, played well. And then his second year, he threw all those interceptions. They kind of figured him out, which side he likes to roll out to, all that stuff. And he didn't have a good year. And then last year, he bounced back and had a good year. And now they're in that position where this coming season, they're going to have to make a decision to give him that big contract or not. But my point is, what if Tua goes out and has a good year this year, but Herbert has that regressing second year now? Remember all those people that, Herbert over Tua, Herbert over, those people aren't going to say a peep. They're going to disappear if that happens. You'll see. And it won't be the same kind of conviction. And listen, I'm not rooting against Herbert or anything like that. I wish the kid well. Unless he plays the Dolphins, I want him to throw 4,000 interceptions. I got nothing against the kid, but I just kind of laugh at people that make it sound like it's night and day between the two, when there was a lot of explanation on what went on one side and went on the other. But again, some people don't want to be reasonable about all of this. Fiedler was very limited. I know that, but what I'm saying is, either way, it was never enough. That's the problem. And I'm a Jay Fiedler guy. Got my Jay Fiedler bobblehead and everything. I love Jay Fiedler. I thought he did a good job. Overall, considering what he was, I thought he did a good job in his toughness. He was a good leader overall. They won games with him. But I know he wasn't a franchise type guy. I get that. I understand that. But I'm actually a Jay fan. I like what Jay did overall. I admire. I have a lot of admiration for Jay Fiedler. I do. Got to admit. Right. Bill says he was a competitor. I love competitor, tough as hell, smart dude. But yeah, he was limited. Could he throw that 20-yard out? No. You had to have him roll out a little bit to that side to throw that 20-yard out. I get it. I get all of that. But I'm a Fiedler fan, believe it or not. I like Jay. I thought he did a solid job overall. I know he wasn't a franchise guy, and I never look at him that way. But I have to say that I admire the way he played and the way he laid it all out every single week. That's why those guys like playing with him. Even though they knew that he wasn't Marino and he wasn't those kind of guys, they liked playing with him because they knew that he would do his best to not get you in trouble and that he was going to work his ass off to try to win any game possible, however he could win it. I'm a Jay Fiedler fan, believe it or not. How about Curtis Painter? Yeah, George, we love our Curtis Painter. Chris Adams, thank you, sir, for sending it in. A little love on Venmo. Appreciate you, man. Little Venmo love. Jim Druckenmiller, biggest bust. I've told this story before, Danny. Maybe you're new on the program, but I was a beat guy when Druckenmiller came in and Jimmy traded for him. And we stood around and had the press conference with him, right? And when I walked away from that press conference, I said, that's a quarterback? Because Jim Druckenmiller looked the part. For you size queens and arm queens and all that, Jim Druckenmiller, dude. 6'5", had a gun for an arm. Wow. The smarts weren't there. Oh, no. I mean, when I was done with that conversation, I was like, there's no way this guy's a quarterback. Because he just didn't sound very smart. And I was not surprised that he was just an absolute failure. Seriously, it was just one of those, like, I walked away like, whoa, that's dense. Okay? Sorry, Jim, if you're listening or watching the show, but yeah, IQ-wise, you did not impress me whatsoever, my man. So I was kind of like, okay, now I know why, I know why it's not working out. But yeah, I'm glad we got Tua. Really looking forward to his years. Go Fins. I agree. Scott Jackson says, after the Broncos and Raiders game, I knew we needed a real QB. Good Lord, remember what we gave up for A.J. Feely? Second round. Best thing about A.J. Feely, you guys know what it was, right? Heather Mitts. That's the best thing about Jay Feely. Smoking. Wife, right? I think she was the wife, or she was a fiance then. She was the soccer player. Heather Mitts was a cutie. Let's see. What else do we have here? Big O, please get on Spotify so I can listen to you at work. We are on Spotify. What are you talking about? Big O radio show, bro. What are you talking about? We're on Spotify. Spotify. We're on every platform pretty much. Just look for it, bro. Big O Radio Show, man. Big O Radio Show. You can subscribe everywhere. Spotify, radio.net, Amazon, Stitcher, Google Play, SoundCloud, Podbean. You can find us everywhere. Big O Radio Show. Big O Radio Show. Everything is Big O Radio Show. The only thing that's Big O Show is the Twitter feed. Outside of that, everything is Big O Radio Show. Okay? So there you go. Don't Spotify Big O can't interact on Spotify. Yeah, but he can listen, Bill. He wants to listen. He doesn't have to interact. He can interact here. He can send me an email. He can send me a tweet. It's not a big, there's plenty of ways to interact. But on Spotify, if he wants to listen, he can listen at least. We still get the stat, so it doesn't matter. And by the way, thank you all out there for the downloads. It is incredible. I mean, we were pushing almost 600,000 downloads here in the last 30 days. It's absolutely amazing. So thank you all out there for giving us some incredible love on the downloads. All right. Bromar says Tua's better than Tannehill, right? Well, Tua's actually like a real quarterback. That's the difference. Can we talk about Myles Gaskin? What do you want me to tell you? He's locked in that number one job, dude. He looked good. He runs the ball well. He catches the hell out of the ball. He's the better blocking back overall. He just does everything well. He's not bad at anything. And one of the things that I love about him is his balance. He's not this giant guy that's going to, bust out tackles and put people on their asses like Walter Payton used to do that Ram move where he'd put his helmet into you and lift you up and just knock your ass out, that kind of stuff. He's not that kind of a freak, but he does break tackles. And because he's kind of low to the ground and you try to hit him low, his balance is, and you saw it on that sideline play. He does that all the time. I want you to go back and look at some of his highlights from last year. His balance is elite. When I tell you, I'm not telling you he's an elite back. I'm telling you his balance is elite. And I love that because you're going to get knocked down. You're going to get hit as a running back. And you've got to be really good at trying to work your way through traffic. And sometimes you've got to work your way through traffic, maybe with a little lack of balance. But you've got to maintain that balance as you're cutting from one way to another, and your body weight is leaning one way or another, and then you've got people chopping at you. And he has this tendency of knowing how to stay up. It's impressive. It really is impressive. I'm a big Myles Gaskin fan. He's one of those guys that you looked at and you said, all right, maybe he can be serviceable or whatever. And you know what? He's turned himself into a solid back. I like what I see from him. And how about praise for Chris Greer for not panicking and going after a running back free agent and trusting Myles? I was the guy that said they weren't drafting a back. You probably are new, Tommy. I've been saying that they're probably going to draft a back next year. Because my theory is, for those of you that are new, you've got a new team, you're building a new line, new quarterback, all of those things. It's going to be, why are you going to draft somebody in the first, second, or third years of this development? Because you've got a lot, like you're going to take a lot of shots. So why spend a high pick on a guy that you got to pay? And think about this. His first 3 years, he's dealing with a bad line or a mediocre line or a young line, right? So he's taking the pounding for 3 years. So if you draft him in the first round, you've got 5 years. But if you draft him in the second or third, you've only got 4. So now, let's say you would have drafted him the first year. You're already up for a contract. You might not know enough about him with the 3 years, or he might not survive taking the beating. So while you're developing the line and the quarterback and all of that, get serviceable backs to get you by. Invest late round picks. When your line is ready to go, which might be a year or 2 from now, and your quarterback's already matured, which should be a year or 2 from now, when they're all set, boom, that's when you go get your running back. Because now you draft a nice stud in the first or second rounds, and the kid steps in to an offense that's already settled. Offensive line is settled. Quarterback is comfortable. Wide receivers like Jalen Waddle's in. He's settled. Things like that. Gesicki, if you sign him long-term, settled in. So now all of a sudden, the kid steps in and doesn't have to carry the offense. Whereas the last couple of years, you would have been using him like your scapegoat to like save your ass. So I think their plan is to kind of get by with these kind of guys. And then next year or the year after, I think they invest one of their top picks in a running back. That's just me. I'm just throwing it out there because then also you don't have to pay him for 4 or 5 years. And you've got him on the gravy train now. You've got him on a good offense so you can go out there, you can be productive. And remember, here's the other thing. A lot of these backs nowadays, because it's so interchangeable, it may only be a one contract type guy. He might be a good back, but unless he's a great, great back, that you're not going to bring him back. You're probably going to draft another guy to replace him. So think about that. You might like if you draft him late in the first round, let's say, and the kid's good. So you milk him for 5 years now because you have him for 5 years. Maybe you tag him for the 6th, and then you draft another guy and you let him go. And you use him up, and then that's it. Because you don't want to deal with the second contract and maybe the mileage and the wear and tear and all those kind of things. So that's my theory. I think they purposely have not gone after a stud back because they're still building everything up, and you really won't be able to assess the back the way you would like, and you're going to put them through absolute torture. That's just me. I could be wrong, but so far they haven't done it, right? In 3 years, they haven't even gone for a running back in the first couple of rounds. We talk about it, but they don't do jack about it. Scott Jackson says, I think it's more likely that when a running back falls lower than what they have him ranked, they will take him. They've had that opportunity. I'm sure we can go back and look in the last 3 drafts. Well, this one won't count because it hasn't happened yet. But in the last 2 drafts, I'm sure we can look at a guy that's done pretty well, and they could have had him in the 2nd or 3rd rounds. I'm sure there's a couple of those guys. I just think they didn't really want to get it back. I truly believe that. Big old running backs have a short shelf life. That's the reason Ricky retired. He was being overused. Yep, exactly. And there wasn't enough weed for him to kind of feel good at the end of the day. I have respect for Tannehill. Pretty sure he was a wide receiver at Texas A&M. Played QB only 1 season. Impressed. He made the NFL. He was tough, too. He got hit a lot. Always on his back. Poor guy. Danny, he was a quarterback that got recruited to Texas A&M as a quarterback, and then they moved him to receiver for a year, and then they moved him back to quarterback for about a season and a half. That's what it was. He was a quarterback. But you can tell you're not a good quarterback if they move you to wide receiver. You understand what I'm saying? When you recruit Steve Walsh, you're not moving him to wide receiver. When you recruit Jim Kelly, you're not moving him to wide receiver. When you recruit Tua, you're not moving him to wide receiver. You get what I'm saying? You recruit Trey Lance, you're not moving him to wide receiver. So if they move you to wide receiver, they must not think you're that good. That's what really it is. If we're going to be honest about it, that he was so raw. Remember, he was on a wing T type offense in high school. They didn't really throw the ball a lot. They ran like crazy. I do give him credit in this. He's turned himself into a really good game manager. There's no doubt in my mind that. Now, do I consider him a franchise guy? No, I don't. And he's proven it to me the last 2 years in the playoffs. When they shut Derrick Henry down, he does nothing. Because now you got to go off script now. Now you got to carry them. And that's not who he is. He's the guy that can follow the script. You run the route, I'll throw it, you go make the play after that. But if the play breaks down and chaos starts, Ryan is never going to bail you out of chaos because he can't bail you out. That's not his game. And Arthur Smith has done a magnificent job of organizing that offense for him. Now Arthur Smith is with the Falcons. It'll be interesting to see if the new offensive coordinator will be able to do it. Now, they went out and got Julio Jones. So now you've got A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. That's one hell of a tandem now. But again, when they stop Derrick Henry, they stop them overall. That at one point or another, I doubt at this point he's going to graduate from that, but that's going to be the issue again for the Titans when it's all said and done. Tannehill is in the top 100 players from 2020. That's nice. I'm happy for them. Doesn't mean I agree with it. That's all stats. And stats-wise, you're right. Mark Bonaquisti, I think it is. Thank you, sir. Giving us a little love on Venmo. I appreciate you immensely. Thank you for a little Venmo love. Cash Big O show there. Appreciate it. Ragin says, the Finns did try to trade up to get Najee Harris, but we're not willing to get screwed to move up. How do you know that, bro? Who said that? How do you know they were trying to trade up to get Najee Harris? Big O, you are so wrong about Albert Wilson. Chad, it won't be the first time. I'm a human being, brother. There's no way I'm going to be right every time. But my guess is Albert Wilson gets traded or cut. That's just my guess. That's all. I could be wrong. Maybe he makes it for a week because Will Fuller is out for the suspension, but then after that, he's a goner. Unless they keep as many receivers as Omar thinks they're going to keep, and I think it's going to be 6 to 7, not 8. But we'll see, right? Time will tell, my man. Time will tell. Terrence says, new here. Nice show, Big O. Saw you on the DDW channel. Oh, Dougley, thank you. Just wanted to say hi. I think your view on how they are trying to draft or how they view drafting a back is spot on. Time will tell too, right? If they go for a back next year, the year after, it's exactly what I said. Big O, 2 to 3 wideouts in the top system are used as running backs, sweeps, etc. Okay. I still need receivers. If you're going to start, then you're good. If you're not starting, which Albert Wilson does not start over Devontae Parker, Jalen Waddle, or Will Fuller, then you need to be exceptional on special teams if you're a backup receiver. He doesn't help you there. So I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but that's why I don't think he makes it. Macmillan, Mr. A. Million, I think that's what it is now. I'm sorry. Says, we beat the Pats. Week 1, we beat the Pats. Worse than 2008 when we introduced a Wildcat in Gillette. Wow, that would be nice. I think they will beat the Pats. I believe they'll beat the Pats. I guarantee you they'll beat the Pats. And Cam is starting. Cam won't be running all over the Dolphins like he did last year. So I'm not worried about the Pats. The team we worry about right now, it's the Bills. It's the Bills' time right now. That's the best team in the division at this moment. Okay? Maybe next year Miami can catch up to them, but right now it's the Bills that I worry about in this division. I don't worry about the Jets, and I don't worry about the Patriots anymore. Over. JVTVO, Dolphins will win the Super Bowl in 2023, and Dan Marino will hold the Lombardi Trophy on the podium. What a sight that will be. Well, JVTV, we have a saying here on this show. Not sure if you know about this, but the saying on the show is tune up in 2021, title in 2022. You got that? So this year is the tune-up year for the Dolphins. Next year is the title year. Tune-up 2021, title 2023. That's the slogan on this show. So next year, or 2 years from now, it'll be 2023 because it'll be February of 2023 technically. So you are, right. If you mean the 23 season that ends up in the 24 Super Bowl, no. But the 22 season that ends up in the 23 Super Bowl, we all will be in Arizona celebrating a Dolphins championship. So make your plans, get ready. This year will be the tune-up. Next year will be the title. That's all. It's pretty simple. Some people don't know about this. You may want to tell the rest of the Dolphin Nation so they start saving their money. They get prepared so we can just bombard Arizona and load up that Phoenix area with aqua and orange all over the place. Whether you can get in the stadium or not, let's all celebrate together this Dolphin Championship in Arizona next year. 2021 is the tune-up. 2022 is the title. That's it right there. Good morning, Big O, or good afternoon in our case. I'm excited about the Dolphins. I can't believe how some sportscasters expect too much from Tua. He is going to be great, just needs time. I agree. Bob Whitmer says, Big O, you hearing the news about Cam Newton missing practice today? Nope, I am not. I have not. But I saw that they said Josh McDaniels and Belichick says in order to start over Cam, you got to play better than Cam. So he said that Cam's playing. And then now also Josh said that Cam is a starter. Now, I don't know why he's missing. Could be a COVID thing. Could be a personal thing. Either way, he'll be recovered and ready to go for the start of the season, which is 3 weeks from now. So he's got plenty of time to recover. It's got to be something serious if he's going to be out. I have not heard of that because I've been doing the show here, my friend, so I don't know anything about it. I can look it up and see if there's any news, but I don't know anything else about it. Let's see. Do I see anything here? Sean Payton hopes to name a starting quarterback by Saturday. God, they're so screwed. Winston or Taysom Hill? Oh, God. How about this? The Raiders tried to explore a trade for Khalil Mack. Did you all hear about this? So Vic Tafur, who does an excellent job, I know Vic, and he's really good for The Athletic. So according to Vic Tafur from The Athletic, the Raiders made a call to Chicago about a potential Mack trade before signing Yannick Ngakoue in free agency. A trade would have triggered a cap charge for the Bears in excess of $20 million given Mack's signing bonus and the 2019 restructuring. The Bears restructured Mack's deal again in 2021, kicking $12 million more into future years. So it's unclear whether the Bears simply hung up the phone or whether an actual discussion occurred. But like if you're the Raiders, you should know that they restructured his deal and that would then put them at more risk for cap issues. And so the player that you traded away, now you want to trade for. This is why I never believed in John Gruden going to Oakland, now Vegas, and I always looked at it as a joke. To me, John Gruden might be the most overrated Super Bowl winning coach in the history of the NFL. I think he's also one of the most overrated coaches, period, in the NFL. Seriously. That's where I'm at with this guy. Incredibly overrated. Got lucky that he went to Tampa where they gifted him a generational defense. And to his credit, he did get enough offensive pieces to get over the top. But then he slowly but surely destroyed that team and it was never the same and he could never maintain it. And then he does this quarterback crap on ESPN when he's never developed a quarterback. Ever. In his life, he's never developed a quarterback. And so I knew that this would be a complete shit show over with the Raiders. And so far, it's been an absolute shit show. And to hear that now you're trying to trade back for the player that you should have never traded in the first place. I'm so glad that this all worked out this way. You know why? Because the Dolphins have Reggie McKenzie, the guy that drafted Derek Carr, the guy that drafted Khalil Mack, the guy that actually put them back into the playoffs. But of course, he's black. So it's, that's, we know what it is. That's the problem. So yeah, no, let's hire suffering succotash and Mike Mayock suffering succotash. And, let's move the guy out that actually has done a hell of a job in Reggie McKenzie. And that's where Chris Greer said, oh, you want to get rid of Reggie McKenzie? Oh, yeah, no, come on over. Come on over. Marvin Allen, come on over. Come on over. We have now the best personnel, if not the best, one of the 5 best personnel offices in the NFL. And then he goes and hires Flo. If you're a Raiders fan out there, man, I feel sorry for you. And I feel, you know what? I even feel more sorry for you if you actually thought this move was going to work. What a clown show. I mean, it's insulting that you would even call the Bears because it shows a lack of knowledge and understanding of what the system is that you're under as NFL teams. Like, you should know that they reworked his deal 2 years in a row. And if they're kicking more money down the line, that puts them in more risk. Why would they want to do that? They're trying to compete for a playoff spot. They trade him, they're going to have to cut players in order to get under the cap because the money gets accelerated. They should know that by now. And yet you know how embarrassing it is that you want to call back a team to trade back a player that you traded them to? That's like telling your fan base, oh, we effed up. Yeah, dude. Of course you effed up. You don't trade werewolves. That's like the Dolphins. Yeah, no, Jason Taylor's in his 5th season. Let's trade him. He's only a Hall of Fame player. It's like, how do you trade Khalil Mack, man? They don't grow on trees, man. When you got those kind of pass rushers, you don't trade those kind of guys. By the way, I know that he's playing for the enemy. I get it. But my boy Greg Rousseau, 2 sacks in 2 weeks. Speaking of pass rushers, I hated that the Bills got him, but I always thought that they got themselves a steal, that kid fell that far, and I still believe he's going to be a player at this level because I think he's a disruptive force. I just think he's one of the, he reminds me a lot of is the dude from Kansas City, Long, right? Is it Chris? Is it Chris Long? Am I right? Or did I get that wrong? Am I wrong about Long? Is it Chris Long? I got to look it up now because now I'm having the brain fart and I want to make sure that I'm getting the guy's name right. It's Chris something, right? That dude that's a big beast that they play him inside. They played him outside this week. Somebody help me out there, man. Big O, the Ron Jeremy of sports radio. You see me naked? Let's see what's going on here. Here we go. Jones, is it? Chris Jones. Chris Jones. Thank you. Oh, there you go. You guys were coming up with it. Chris Jones. That's what this dude reminds me of. Chris Jones. Chris Jones is big, powerful, immovable object. That's what I see in Rousseau. I think he's kind of one of those dudes. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, whatever, but I love the kid. I love the kid. Los Dolphinaticos says, Chris Jones, thank you, sir. Malik Prince coming in with Jones. Thank you all out there. Mark Jones says it's Chris Jones. Thank you all out there. I've never been called the Ron Jeremy of sports radio. That's new. That's all I can say. Chris Adams says, I agree with you 1,000,000% about John Gruden. I'm enjoying watching him burn down the legacy. LOL, he hired a fantasy football guy from TV for his GM. Yeah, I'm with you there. It's crazy stuff, man. All right, folks, we are going to wrap it up on the show. It's 3 hours and 20 minutes today. We will be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We will have Alan Poupart with our Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insider Report. Ira Winderman will be joining us for our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat report. We will have a couple of other guests also. Donnie Urig, thank you, sir, for sending in some love on Venmo. I appreciate you. As always, I appreciate all of you for tuning in, for keeping it locked here on the program. Please smash the hell out of the like button. It is very important that you smash the hell out of the like button. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, same bat channel. There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal